Bum 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 bum. Here we are. Welcome everyone to CLOBBERIN Times issue number 396 overall, 1090. That's 396 on YouTube, 1096 overall for the past 13 years. And deep space, excuse me, Star Trek. Get my own damn name right. Saturday Night Star Trek number 80. So a lot of numbering, and it just got me all confused and turned around and everything. But welcome, my dear friends. I am so happy to see you all here tonight. Are we ready for some DS9?
We ready.
Are we ready? All right.
Ready.
Cannot wait. We've been looking forward to this. I think a lot of people have. And let's see. Sorry, I'm quickly writing names down. Friends who are popping in. My goodness, so good to see you all here tonight. And a big shout out to everybody who is lurking or listening on a download. We're trying to get into the habit of shouting you out more because I've just been derelict in that, and I've been Captain Dunzel in that, as a matter of fact. So I hope you're all hearing me well. And oh my goodness.
The Beacons are here, and they've left a generous gift for you. Michael and Cassandra Beacom, how I adore both of you. What a dynamic, amazing couple you two are. Just love you.
Thank you so much, Michael Beacom. I really appreciate that for the $10 super chat. Let's see. It says, full disclosure, I am a Babylon 5 guy. Well, I'm a fan as well. And avoided DS9 as derivative. So now I am seeing most of these for the first time, and with the gift of distance, I'm seeing them with new eyes. Thanks for the gift. Thank you for that gift, and I'm glad to hear that. You know, I love Babylon 5, and I did watch it first as well, because it actually came on first. It was on TV a little bit before, slightly before that, and loved it, of course, and I was sort of like that as well. I disdained DS9 a little bit. Not that I minded the similarities. And yes, there's all that stuff about how they were, what was taken, what was stolen, what was not. There's that big argument that has gone on in pop culture. Did they take it? A lot of fans, especially fans of Babylon 5, believed that was taken. I don't know. They're both great shows.
I think it's hard in the industry, and it can be a little terrifying for people who don't work in film, who are authors. Like I know I'm terrified that someone will read something that I've written and try and use it for their own design, and that's always a risk. It's a risk when you're shopping a script. It's a risk when you're shopping a story, when you're sending it around to publishing firms, when you're sending it out to people, because they can just turn around and say, look, I like this idea, and this idea. Let's get somebody to write this exact idea, but do this, and this. And it's always a risk for an author. And as an author and an editor, I can tell you that I find the whole idea of it very disturbing and unpleasant, very unpleasant. It does not give you a good feeling when you can't be sure of it, Captain.
Well, yes, and Dave, go check out the excellent Dave Cullen video about this. Is Babylon 5 is Deep Space Nine ripped off from Babylon 5's base? I think that's what the name of his video is. It's been a while since I've watched it, but it is very interesting. And you could just draw your own conclusions as you see fit. Because I wasn't there, and the bottom line is none of us were actually there.
That's right.
But see, that's kind of thing has happened in a field I think you all know that I love a lot, called comic books. So much. In terms of things being stolen, what is a ripoff of what, and that sort of thing. So we're not going to litigate that here anyway. That's not what we're here for.
We're not here for that.
But it doesn't make either show bad. For example, even if you like one better than the other, which is perfectly fine, some like one better than the other, and that's okay. For the longest time, I really preferred Babylon 5, but when I finally went back and gave DS9 the chance, I don't know. I think both shows had some. Babylon 5 had a lot of stumbling toward the end there. that hurt it overall, but it's still a great show. So I don't know. I actually think Deep Space Nine. Of course, it also had a lot more episodes. So I kind of like Deep Space Nine a little bit better. Maybe it's just because I love that Star Trek universe so much. Even though, yes, we know it's not the Roddenberry universe per se, but it's still in that universe. It still takes place in that universe. So, anyway.
Well, I'm new to Babylon 5, and you had encouraged me to make sure that I watched it at the time that Babylon 5 came out. We owned restaurants. I was working very long days, 12 to 16-hour days, constantly. And then I went into university. So really didn't have a lot of time to do this sort of thing. And I would cut out a bit of time for Star Trek, but not to really embrace all of these new shows. I'm not a big television watcher. And so, just this last year, I finally had an opportunity to watch Babylon 5. And I do have to say that I love that show. I just think that it is an absolutely
Great
outstanding show. It is a deep, deep pity that they did not remaster it, or however you geeks describe it, when they sort of pull it out of that analog environment and they find ways to upgrade the way that it was filmed. That's not my area of expertise. Definitely filmmaking is not my area of expertise, but I think that the visuals make something so intense. And that's not to say DS9 doesn't need its own remastering, but I do think it does intensify the feelings you have for a show when it's very immersive. And for me,
Right.
I like both the shows, but I do find the low quality of the way that you're putting it up on your screen now on the television. I do find it harder to watch Babylon 5 and concentrate on all the good stuff. So, the people who made that show really dropped the ball in forecasting what was going to be required of them in the future.
Well, there you go. But we're going to get off of that. So because we got a lot to do tonight. And
We do.
I made the mistake of I don't know who mentioned it by now. It's been so long. Oh, it was the super chat, right? Yeah. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have super chats. Max sent you something.
No, I was talking about how we got on Babylon 5, but I guess it was bound to be mentioned. But it would, that's another bunch of streams, and it's been going on for like 30 something years now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Max Redstone, for taking up the slack for Eric K, who's not here at the moment, but we love Eric. I don't think he's here, so because he's got to go with the Wesley stuff. Clubby admits he was scared that DS9 had no Wesley. Okay. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat, Max. Appreciate you. And I did see I know I saw what you just said about the emails there. So anyway, let me do the show notes so we can get to our hellos and then get moving with our reviews. Just one. Okay, here we go. All right. So where are you? Oh, sorry, having a bit of a problem there. Monday night, the great engineer, the chief engineer, Mark D with the C, joins me for Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, where we'll be reviewing the Marvel graphic novel from the 80s, The Big Change, with the Hulk and the Thing by Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson. Looking forward to that. And then next Wednesday, I can't wait. I might be the only one excited about it, but I cannot wait. The great TV show Blake 7. I will be ranking and rating all 52 episodes in a countdown fashion. That is next Wednesday night.
That's going to be so fun.
I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm still got to get all the work done that I'm planning for it. I'm preparing it big time. And so cannot wait. And that's going to be fun. And then, of course, Thursday night, the Clubhouse. And then the next week. You know what? Next Saturday night, Star Trek will be my 400th YouTube stream. Weird, huh?
Dun, 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 dun.
That too. So let's see if anybody else popped in. Let me write down anybody else who may have popped in.
We have a whole bunch of repeat offenders.
LT, I got it. This is one I'm going to be doing. I'm ranking, and I'm going to have to. I have to do that one on my own. I mean, it's going to take me enough time as it is. And by the way, I'm the only one qualified actually to rank them and rate them anyway. To be honest, nobody else in the universe is. And let's just be honest about that. If anybody else would be, though, you would be the guy. But I can't do it. That's one thing I got to ride solo on, because otherwise it would be for hours and hours and hours. It's gonna take me long enough to do it.
Hey, do you know that Mrs. LT is here?
Hello.
She
Well,
is, and
let's
I
start.
just want to say hello to her, and I'm blowing her a kiss. So good to see you. You know what I mean? Little air quotes around see. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, here we go. In fact, shout outs begin now. Our chief engineer Mark D with the C is here. Hey, buddy.
Yes.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see here. Our wonderful communications officer, Anti-Derivative Jill, is here. Our great chief of security is here. The shape changer himself, LT.
LT.
Actually, he's and for this length of this show, he is the constable. So Constable LT is here, and his lovely wife.
Yes,
the missus. Okay, and also with us this evening in the chat, of course, the great Phantom Outsider.
Fanday.
Hello there, Shooter 8323.
Pew 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 pew.
The great J-Man buddy. Good to see you there, bro. Good to see you, man. Michael Beacom. Hey, and hello
Cassandra.
to Cassandra there
yes.
as well.
So nice to see you guys. Love you guys.
Great to see you. Thank you for being here tonight. The master of the Canadian wrench, our great buddy, Chris Persia.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Sending billions of kisses for your face.
Raymond Feliciano.
And What's Sandra up, Feliciano. And they were blowing kisses to each other in the chat. Those crazy kids being all romantic.
They weren't doing that. They don't do that. Come on.
They do that.
I don't believe it. Pleasant Valley Picker. Yo, dude. Hey.
Hi.
Diesel. Hello there, Diesel. Good to see you.
Diesel. Good to see you.
A shout out to Steve Mitchell, Maddie's daddy. He popped in and said hello, but of course he's taking care of a sick toddler. I hope Maddie feels better, buddy.
No.
Give our best to Maddie and you.
Yeah.
Old buddy JT Kirk is here. All right, JT.
JT Kirk.
And we have the Dadman clan here with Dadman and the wonderful Mrs. Dadman. Hello to the
Mrs. Dadman is here in the flesh. Love the Dadman clan, mom, dad, and the offspring. So good evening, fine family.
Yes, indeed. Good to see you. So a new person popped in. I'm not sure I'm familiar with but El Hombre.
Ooh.
Hello, everyone. What are you talking about? We're talking about Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We're beginning our review of that show. We're going to review every episode, 4 a night, for a long time. 4 per night, 4 per week, rather. Wendy Webb, hey there. I hope you and yours are doing well.
Yes. And hi, Wendy Webb, Trauma Warrior.
And shout out to Jimmy there.
And Jimmy.
The great enigmatic one himself, Enigmatic Drop Bear.
The erudite bear. I am so looking forward to Edie's comments on DS9. It is my understanding that he has not watched this series through, or at least not recently. I'm kind of foggy on the facts there. However, I do know this. He's basically doing this iteration of Star Trek in a watch-along fashion. So I'm incredibly excited to hear what he has to say. Love it, love it, love it.
Absolutely. And therefore, no spoilers about future events, everybody.
Try and keep your future events. Oh, this happened in the future kind of comments. Please, folks, try and keep those to yourself, because we don't want to spoil it for Edie. I want you to think of when we were doing TOS, and all of us were very carefully nurturing the TOS love for Esh Singh and for Katie Carr. So let's put Edie, let's put Enigmatic Drop Bear in that same protective bubble so that he can have this wonderful relationship with DS9 that we all have. Thank you for your help.
Just because if I didn't know, if he wasn't aware that, I mean, this is the kind of thing you just mentioned something like, oh yeah, remember season 5 when they did this, or that's the kind of thing. So
yeah, and think of this too. Michael Beacom also hasn't watched this show. He's a B5 person, so he's also doing a watch along. So we're really experiencing the full throttle 735 Club in action now. Right. So let's be great caretakers of this wonderful IP for those who are new to these particular iterations.
The Catman, aka Dee Dee Myers, hello there.
Dun, 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 dun.
The great Hungry Boy. I have to find this. I have to move my chat to find his new name because he's got a different.
Just call him Brain Boy.
Hungry
That's what I call him.
Kira and Odo detective series. Yeah, who wouldn't be? Yeah. Okay. Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete and Leslie.
The great aforementioned Max Redstone.
Maximum Redstone.
Obviously, we'll be spoiling the hell out of the episodes we're doing tonight. We're just talking about the far-flung future or something, like the way the show ultimately ends, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Yeah,
we don't want to.
Yeah, it's not like obviously we're going to be telling everything that happens tonight. So yeah. Tyrell 72, good to see you, my friend.
Tyrell, don't work too hard, honey. Have a great night at work. Be
the
safe.
Super One, Kal-El, buddy, good to see you.
Stephen M, real soup.
Mr. Angel, what is up, chef?
Chef.
What is cooking? What's cooking, chef? Dave Bob, what's up, buddy?
I said, Dave Bob is here.
Hey, buddy. Joe's Atmosphere, good to see you, my friend.
How's the air up there? Just kidding. Kidding.
Atmosphere check. He lives not too far from me. Let's see here. Oh, Mistral Niblick. Hello there. Welcome back. I know we saw you here last week, I believe.
Lurk mode fully engaged.
The great Wolfie. Hey. Goes without saying, the great Max Redstone is here, the master.
Yes.
The master of all.
Maximum Redstone.
Okay. I'm sorry. I lost my place. I'll say the Comic Relief Crusader. Dude, what's up?
Hello.
Papa Delta Yankee. Hey.
Yankee.
The aforementioned new arrival El Hombre. Hello again. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. Ghostotron. Hey there. And
Mitesh is here too.
Who?
Mitesh.
I may have missed one.
Yeah, Mitesh is here. And so is Midnight Oblivion. And Cassandra's here. Cassandra's not just lurking tonight.
Did you say Natasha? I must have missed that. The chat may be going too fast on me. Hang on a second.
It's okay.
Hello, Midnight's Oblivion.
Night, when we did our show, do you know that I could not see any of the opening or closing credits? None of it.
Oh, okay, really?
Wow. Yeah, so there's something going on with StreamYards.
Well, it's good to see you, Mitesh. Hey there. Mitesh Desai. Mm-hmm. It is great to see you. And so I think we're all caught up on our hellos. We're going to start getting down to business in a second here, folks. What I'm doing now basically is just first, great thank you to the great Dad Man. Hey, buddy, you're too kind for the 199 Super Chat. Just saying thank you for the work you put in here. You guys are the ones doing all the work there. But now look, yeah, we're going to keep that's one thing I was going to note when we finally start writing reviews. We can't have the tenors anymore. They're just too much. We've got so many people doing so many. If you could keep it, I would say 9 as a joke since it's Deep Space Nine, but if you can keep it to 7, I mean, that should be plenty. It helps us if you do that. So, Apollo May's here.
And the pepperoni.
Up. Sorry, I forgot to.
Love it.
I'm writing things down so much.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, so what we're doing, anyone who may be here, like if you're listening on a rerun, or if you've never been here before, as we've been, January, the very first week of January of 2021, we embarked upon this mission to review all of Real Star Trek. What is Real Star Trek? Well, Real Star Trek is very simple. It is 1966 through 2005, 735 segments. If you segment them, each series in the movies into segments, as counted up by our first officer, my wonderful first officer, Raquel Briggs. So, we have reviewed all of the original Star Trek, the original series. Then we moved on to the animated series. Nothing else after 2005 is legitimate Star Trek. It doesn't count. It's filth.
Exactly.
By the way, that's not true Trek. So after the animated series, we did the original crew films. Then, just a couple of weeks back, we finished up with all 7 seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And over the past 2 weeks, we reviewed the Star Trek: The Next Generation crew films. And tonight, on Saturday Night Star Trek number 80, our 80th show of doing this, but there were actually a couple of weeks that we weren't able to review the episodes, but still, almost 78 of those we've been doing our reviews. We had a couple episodes that were weeks off where we did some different stuff. But we're now beginning our next chapter in our ongoing mission to review all of it, starting tonight with Deep Space Nine. And what we do here is my wonderful first officer will read from some text that she has from a book. I don't have a picture of the book because it's a different book. That's the one thing I forgot. Number one, I forgot to find a picture of the book. I'll get one now.
Yeah.
Hey, Captain James T. Skywalker.
James T. Skywalker.
Good to see you, buddy.
Chris Persia, may I please ask if you could find me a JPG of Deep Space Nine Companion?
I meant to do it. I was doing all this other stuff with the visuals, and
it's
I totally
okay now that I know that
I
Chris
find
knows his way around and he'll find something with a decent resolution. I don't mind asking Chris. He could get it done in 2 seconds flat.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm it was called? The Companion, right?
Yeah, it's called Deep Space Nine Companion. But yeah, I would love to be able to read those credits off because I just have the scanned sheets. Okay, so folks, let me explain something to you, especially because we have a whole bunch of new people here. So I'm a nerd, I'm an academic, and I met Clobby, who is the grand poobah of all geeks. And we met on Twitter. And we started shooting the bull, and we both realized that we really love Star Trek a lot. And he was like, "Hey, you know a lot about Star Trek. Why don't you come on my podcast with me?" And this is back when he was on this other radio device that he was using. I forget what it's called.
Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, a Blog Talk Radio. That's it. And so he said, let's get together and let's discuss Star Trek, but let's do it like we would do it in real life, like we were doing it at a con. Or we were doing it in the basement after watching the movies or watching the series. That's what we're really doing here. So when I bring out this text, I try and vet in a very academic way because one of my areas of expertise is writing and editing. I try and get the best book I can to give us a little bit of a summary of the episode, but I also like confirmed behind the scenes production notes or things that people haven't even heard of before. And that's why this text is so important. And in the other iterations, we discovered that many of our listeners really enjoyed knowing that they had read a whole book at the end of participating in that particular iteration. And so here we have it, Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion. This is written by Terry J. Erdman. He's the principal writer here, and he gets a little bit of help with his wife, who is a prolific Star Trek author. Her name is Paula M. Block, and in the previous iterations of Star Trek, we did use Paula's books. I highly recommend them. They're called Star Trek 365. Really great books that offer confirmed information. You're talking about original source material, not just a bunch of user-generated junk on the internet, and half of it's not true. So that's why we're going to start with this. But Clobby got this book for me because this book is insane to try and purchase. Like, I'm telling you, it will blow your mind when you see how expensive this book is to try and find out on the open internet. Clobby found it for me. He bought it for me. And our friend, Mark D with a C, is going to be sending it to me here in Canada, but it hasn't arrived yet. So I'm going to be reading off of a PDF tonight. So it's going to be a little bit weird because the PDF is a little bit blurry, but we're going to get through it. I'm going to have this book in hand for the rest of the 176 episodes, and we are going to rock this book. And we're going to have a great time doing it.
Yes, indeed. So I guess we can go ahead and you want to go ahead and get started. What we do basically, everyone, is we review it, and after Raquel reads from her text, We talk a little bit about the episode. She gives us her notes on the episode. Then we rank, or excuse me, we review it or we rate it. And then I go to you, our wonderful friends in the chat, and ask you to write down a rating and a few words that you may have about the episode. After we get done, and that's what we do here. We do 4 episodes, generally 4 episodes per week. And now we're going to get started with our first episode. Are we ready for our first episode of the evening?
Yes.
And that is the first episode. It is the pilot.
It is
the emissary.
Yeah, so let's just make sure that everybody is on the same page here. This is Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I want you to know in a more academic sense what we're dealing with here, and this may be called into question at a later date. So it's important that we say this at the outset. This iteration of Star Trek is officially science fiction, science fantasy, we're talking genre here, action adventure, and space soap opera, or space opera. It was created by Rick Berman and Michael Piller. You can give it more leeway because it does not apply to Gene's Bible. Gene Roddenberry did not write a show Bible for this show. The show was created after he passed away. There are 7 seasons of Deep Space Nine. There are 176 episodes, and it was filmed and ran on television from 1993 to 1999. Tonight, we're going to first be talking about Emissary. This is Season 1, Episode 1. On streaming services, you're going to see it as 1 and 2. When we talk about it on this show, we're going to talk about it as prod code 401 and 402, because that's the way it appears in the companion that we're going to be reading from. Okay, this episode first ran on January 4th, 1993. And I wrote a little note beside it. This series really does deserve to be remastered. So here we are. Let's stay copyright compliant. I'm going to be reading from Deep Space Nine Companion. Let me just get the page number here. I'm going to start on page 9. Stardate 43997. The Federation starship USS Saratoga is among a number of Starfleet vessels attacked by the Borg at Wolf 359. The Borg are led by Locutus, known to Starfleet as Jean-Luc Picard, captain of the starship Enterprise, who has been kidnapped and altered both physically and mentally by the Borg. Lieutenant Commander Benjamin Sisko served aboard the Saratoga, manages to get away in an escape pod with his young son Jake, but a part of him will never leave that burning ship where he left his wife Jennifer, who was killed in the attack. 3 years later, Sisko, now a commander, is assigned to oversee the Bajoran space station Deep Space Nine, a former Cardassian outpost orbiting the planet Bajor. The Cardassians have recently withdrawn occupation forces from Bajor, leaving its inhabitants on their own for the first time in decades. At the request of Bajor's provisional government, Starfleet has agreed to establish a Federation presence in the system, hence Sisko's assignment, which he has accepted with reluctance. This war-torn region is not an ideal place to raise Jake. Upon his arrival, Sisko begins to meet his staff. His chief operations officer, Miles O'Brien, hip hip Ireland, a recent transfer from the Enterprise, quickly apprises Sisko of the terrible state in which the Cardassians left the station. Major Kira Nerys, the Bajoran attaché assigned to the station to serve as Sisko's first officer, is a former freedom fighter harboring reservations about the Federation's presence. Sisko encounters Security Chief Odo, an alien with shape-shifting abilities, as the latter apprehends some thieves who've broken into the station's assaying office. One of the 2 criminals is Nog, a teenage Ferengi boy whose Uncle Quark owns the station's bar and gambling establishment. Sensing an opportunity, Sisko uses Nog as a pawn to force Quark to remain on the station and keep his business open. But in the midst of dealing with the situation, O'Brien informs Sisko that the captain of the Enterprise has asked to see him. It is an invitation that Sisko does not relish, a point he makes quite clear to Picard, whom he blames for the death of his wife. The meeting, which Picard has intended as a briefing regarding the Bajoran situation, is tense. Sisko lets Picard know that he will do the best job he can do while he is there, although he is thinking of returning to Earth and resigning from Starfleet. Back on the station, Sisko speaks to Kira about the conflict among the disparate factions of the Bajoran people. Kira feels that only Kai Opaka, Bajor's spiritual leader, stands a chance of unifying her people, but the Kai rarely meets with anyone. At that moment, an old monk approaches Sisko and offers to take him to the Kai. Okay, well, it looks like they're going to get into a lot of detail here, so I'm just going to skip a little bit ahead here, because it appears as though the coverage in this book on the first episode is quite intense. Goes on for several pages.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like several pages.
Yeah, we all saw it, so you don't need to go too far into it.
Okay, let's just fast forward to those show notes. The rest of the summaries on this in this book aren't quite as lengthy, folks. So I'm going to skip down to page 12. Let's do this. Shooting a television pilot always requires a minimum of 110% effort from everyone involved in the production, particularly a 2-hour-long pilot. In many ways, it's like shooting a feature film, explains director David Carson. You're creating, inventing, and circumstances in which the whole series is going to go forward. But because the director of the pilot will not be responsible for the show after he completes his brief stint behind the camera, all of those creative aspects are developed in conjunction with the producer of the series, he says. After you leave, it's their show. And you have to make absolutely certain that you don't leave them with people or things that they can't build on. That mandate made Carson's duties in directing Emissary, the pilot for Star Trek Deep Space Nine, much different from the earlier assignments directing episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. As a director on an established episodic show, you're very much a guest of the team that has been working and playing together for some time, he explains. You try to interpret what the team has already established and contribute what you can to keep the show going, on schedule, on budget, and at the same time, provide a bit of excitement. But with a pilot, you have to make sure that the sets are going to work properly for your camera. You have to deal with casting from scratch, and you're actually interpreting the script by your casting. The whole thing is worked out in rehearsals. It's like the alien land that Sisko finds himself in. It becomes a question of taking interpretation from the page and turning it into actuality. So all those things, like Sisko's command style and Kira's temper and the interaction of Odo and Quark, were invented, developed from the germ of the idea that went from the script to the screen. Fleshing out a character or the relationship between Odo and Quark, which had its seeds in a brief exchange that takes place in the pilot. During that scene, Odo is very hard on Quark. I call him a thief, and there is a little humor, really. It's just a hard-nosed attack, but it evolved. It was probably something that had they had every intention of doing. So they're going through here, and they're talking about what it is to be a Ferengi, how they invented the Ferengi, and they're going on and on. There's extensive coverage on this first episode. My apologies, everyone. Let me just get down to business here. Look, another 17 pages. Wow.
You're good. Wow.
Yes, it does mention here in these closing comments that in 1993 the pilot got an Emmy for outstanding special visual effects, and I think 2 others, and they were all about the production, the technical execution of the production. And that is all this text has to say, minus 17 pages.
Wow.
So what did you think of that brief introduction, boss, that I sort of, cherry picked out of there? And what did you think of the episode?
Well, you'll get used to the way this is going to be a little bit different from what you were using, the brick books, so you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
You'll get the hang of it. I like I like this pilot. You know, we all a pilot it's a sales pitch. A pilot has two jobs. It has to impress the network, or in this case, the syndicator, whomever the production company. It has to be sold, and then it has to sell the viewer. It has to give you a reason to come back. So they're always very introductory, which this is what a pilot is, what it's for, which is perfectly fine. And so some pilots are better than others. Nothing could ever, I don't think you could ever be in a class with the two pilots that original Trek got, the Cage and where No Man Has Gone Before, are incomparable. But I did like Encounter at Farpoint. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, there were a lot of problems in later episodes, but they did a pretty decent job. I think this also does a decent job of laying things out, for the future. Introduces its characters fairly well, but it is very piloty. Like they're all, you're just getting started. It's just, that it's all kind of information to come. This is not going to give you everything, but I still think it's and I don't agree that it's easily the strongest of all the pilots of the Treks, Papa.
Oh no.
Papa Delta, because I think the Cage, no matter what the networks thinks, and Where No Man Has Gone Before, I think
No Man Has Gone Before. They're two of the greatest things ever made for television. They are one of the most beautiful things human beings have ever made for TV. They're just glorious.
Right, but I think this one does do a decent job of getting us started. It's a good solid. I think it's a very good, solid, enjoyable pilot, and a pilot has to get you interested in the characters, even more so than the premise, actually, to get you hooked on a TV show. It has to do both, but it's got to get you into the characters. And this show, where look, we were brutal to the next generation, folks. We were. But there were still some great episodes. But there are also some episodes when it was a bad one. We were just, because of a lot of things that have happened, even outside of the show, we were rough on it. But still, when I just speaking of the characters on TNG, there's some characters I don't care that much for. There are only a couple that I really like. I don't have this problem with this show. I really like everybody. I mean, except I was not a Nog guy. And it's hilarious the way they changed Rom. Rom started out as a complete a-hole.
Yeah.
But the main characters, I really like them all, and I like them from get-go.
Yeah.
I think they did a decent job setting it up. The emissary stuff might have been kind of the weakest bit for me. I've never been super in love with the whole emissary thing, the prophet stuff like that. It's good, it's fine, and it's been made for some good episodes. That's never been my favorite aspect of this show, but I understand it's necessary for its story. So I'm just going all over the place here, but just basically saying I found this to be a solid, good start. And I believe you have notes.
I do. Well, first of all, I want to say that I agree with everything that you said. And the thing is that I try and put my opinions in socio-historical context. And that is, going back to 1993 and sort of massaging what I thought and considering my first impressions of the show. And, I do think that it was very daring. I'm an agnostic. So I did think that it was very daring to have this Who Watches the Watchers moment where we have these wormhole aliens and this science fiction idea of, what constitutes God. So I do think that that's very daring. It can also be quite controversial.
Yes,
and
it is.
I think that on a go-forward basis, it will create some sticking points for atheists and for religious people. And you'll see them in conflict. And certainly I'm neither a religious person nor an atheist. I'm an agnostic. But I will say, as an academic and as a Star Trek fan and a Trekkie, that is an active part of being a watcher of DS9. So I do think it's quite daring. But I will say this. I do not judge DS9 the same way I judge TNG. I did judge TNG harshly, and I think it deserved it. But TNG should have abided by Gene Roddenberry's Bible. His Bible was excellent. It would have made the show make a lot of sense, and a lot of the things that the newbie people who like Star Trek, especially the filth lovers, the things that they like to make fun of in TNG actually wouldn't have happened if they just would have listened to what Gene said and and abided his Bible. And certainly buying him vacation tickets and telling him he was no longer welcome in the writing room or something to that effect, according to the block text, is cause for concern. Anyhow, I love this opening. I think it's difficult to do a pilot episode to introduce everything. I love the density. At the end of TNG, everyone had a whole bunch of fatigue where TNG was concerned. It had become sort of an open mouth, a mouth breathing sort of show. It wasn't intelligent. And so here we have this really super dense pilot. We have this wonderful dense episode that is making sure that we're taking account all of the different players in this wonderful play and what their roles are going to be. And I enjoy that density because it doesn't infantilize me. I don't feel like they're trying to handhold me or make the story too simple. It's happening in medias res, so we're in the middle of the action, and we're learning about all these people as though we had just popped on the station. So I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
So here are my notes. This is a nice change of the guard with the Wolf 359 storyline. This is high stakes and intense opening scenes. We have a very believable portrayal of leaving your spouse's body behind while you're abandoning ship. Yeah. That would be incredibly traumatizing for many, many people. I should mention that we fast forward to Stardate 46379.1. It's 3 years later. I want everyone to know that the Stardates throughout Deep Space Nine are deeply disputed by Trekkies, not Trekkers and not the filth lovers or the, all the new fans. I mean, like people who know about the Stardates, they are in constant dispute. So that's something you're going to know. And in this episode, there is a dispute about the Stardates. They do indicate some experts say 3 months rather than 3 years. I love the fishing scenes, and then we have this beautiful window view of Terok Nor. Absolutely outstanding representations of single fathers and their sons. This is truly beautiful. One of the reasons why I liked the new version of Battlestar Galactica is that I absolutely adored the representations of a single father and his son, and the way that they loved one another, and how their relationship was complicated and touching and intellectually challenging and emotionally challenging. Here, when we're watching Jake with his dad, we are seeing what we should be seeing on TV. That is these outstandingly positive representations of single men who are dads and their kids and doing it well. So I love that about this show. It's inspiring. I think Gene would have loved that very much because of the messaging. Very positive. A weapon through the face is a wonderful way to reveal Odo is a changeling. I've always loved that scene. And I remember back in 1993, how shocked I was when the tool goes directly through his face.
That was great.
Yeah, like Clobby, a lot of people, when they're reviewing these shows, they review the show as a viewer. And, you're an author and I'm an author. And I can just say to you, because we haven't engaged with the chat yet, but isn't that marvelous that someone was so clever and was so thoughtful of the audience, thinking of the audience, that we got a weapon through the face, this show me, don't tell me. And revealing him as a changeling like that is, chef's kiss. I don't know if anyone noticed this, but Poopy Stew, I'm not even going to say his name because I just have no respect for him. Poopy Stew can't pronounce Bajor. He pronounces it Bajor or Bajor.
Did he say Bajor?
And then Bajor.
Oh, yeah.
This is terrible acting, and this is terrible directing. Stop telling me Poopy Stu is a great actor. He says it 3 different ways. Get a grip, dude. You pretend for a living.
Oh man,
that wouldn't have gone over in Shakespeare. Definitely not Roddenberry approved. The bitter Picard and Cisco conversation, Captain and his commander. Everyone loves to hate Quark at this point. And so I think it's very important that I bring this up because Clobby and I talk about this kind of stuff in private. So let's talk about it in public. This is the fact that Quark helped reinvigorate this idea that Gene Roddenberry had for the Ferengi. So we're finally seeing an actor who understands, and a director who understands, and writers who understand the potential in the Ferengi, which is an evil, but it's not a conventional type of evil. So love it. It's just
he's got to be a person. Yeah, he's got to be a credible character first.
Yes, yes.
Almost none of their Ferengi ever were until Quark.
Yeah. Yes, and so this yes, it's like a rehabilitation tour, and suddenly everyone's interested in the Ferengi again, and now they're finally being portrayed in the way that Gene Roddenberry had them in his mind, not crazy crack monkeys jumping all over the place, but actually an evil that people have to unpack. So I love this. And then I put everyone is very salty, and they should be. What an upheaval! Look at this station. And then I've got Kai Opaka checking Cisco's paw is cute and wonderful. I love the way that Avery Brooks looks into Kai Opaka's face. And if your priest or your minister or your guru or your imam, anybody who you look up to and love, or you've had a religious experience like that, where somebody just very lovingly cups your face as though you were a child because they have that kind of love for you. Even though I'm not religious, I find that very touching. Yeah. Avery Brooks is delightful and expressive, but he goes too far when he's on the beach with Jennifer. This is one thing that I don't like about the pilot is Avery Brooks is a very close talker. He would have been on that Jerry Seinfeld episode my husband's always telling me about the close talkers.
Close talkers.
Yeah, he's a very close talker. Avery Brooks says his father was. Whoops.
Oh, they did that in a lot of episodes, a few episodes early where he even intimates that he's not alive anymore.
Yeah, that's right. And I put in my notes, my husband went to Quark's in Las Vegas, and then I put a little teardrop on my notes. I write my notes in pencil and paper, everyone. And I wrote, it's just not fair.
Oh, you didn't get to go, did you?
Yeah, I didn't get to go, but my husband went and he gave me his bar card.
I think Jill's been there.
Yeah,
I know a few people have been to Quark's. I never got to go to the Star Trek experience either.
Yeah,
that's over. By the way, a few hellos before we get going. Everyone, a few late arrivals there or new arrivals. Cavachino, Caviman Shea, hello there. Pop culture curator, good to see you. And Delanax Amanda Bear, hey.
Murat.
Good to see you all, my friends. Continue.
I always love the variety of ships and aliens. Look, we're not going where no man has gone before. But the thing is that there is an upside to staying where everyone needs to go instead of where no man has gone before.
Where no one has stayed before.
Yeah, stayed where everyone has stayed before. Because we get this thing now. Look, I know I have JT Kirk out there in the audience. He's my friend. I love him. He's a part of our crew. And I have Wolfie out there. I love him. He's our friend. He's a part of our crew. And these guys know a lot about ships. Guys, I got to tell you, I have and of course, Scuba Pete. Who's a toy guru. But I love all of these ships and aliens. And that's one, like, people are always talking about the downside to being on Deep Space Nine, but let's talk about the upside. I love seeing all these
LT's
aliens.
leaving us, by the way. Sorry.
Pardon?
LT has to run, he says.
Aww.
Well, we'll definitely read your review of this when it comes up. Thank you, LT.
Yeah. So I love all the ships and aliens. Then I just yelling Jadzia, Gul Dukat. And then I really love the fact that you have a UFO moment, a Space 1999 moment when they launched the Rio Grande. So you have that rising pedestal, and then the Rio Grande takes off. I just love it. This is a representation of powerful women and visible minorities, and it's 1993. So when people say that the filth is the new version of that, they're not telling the truth. I love that the commander doesn't panic when he is taken, when he's abducted by these aliens. He engages the aliens, and it's wonderful. We get a beautiful lesson about existing in the spaces in time that shape us, the spaces in time we regret, never the celebratory moments, but the moments we regret. He describes our crazy existence as we know it. This is glorious science fiction. I love this whole idea that a linear existence would be alien. And I have a cry every time when he is faced with the death of his spouse. It is truly wonderful. Avery Brooks as a stage actor, he's really showing his acting chops here. When he cries, oh boy, I've got a big old lump in my throat and get very misty. It's quite sad.
Yeah.
I love that O'Brien is confident in Kira's battle strategies. She is so Kirk here. And Clobby, you know I have a test. What would Kirk do? Kira goes Kirk here, and I love it. And O'Brien's loving every minute of it. He's got that Irish smirk on his face as he's watching Kira bluff her way out of stuff. I love it. And then we have the big action sequence. And then we also have airlocks. I miss airlocks. And Cisco's heart is healed, and he is ready to work again. I feel so sorry for this profoundly sad man. I'm so happy that he has carved a tiny little hole out of this suffocating Iron Maiden he's in. And he's got this little bright spot, the poor man. And I love Kira and Quark and him trying to have sex with her. Hysterical. It makes me just spit my coffee. I love it. So those are all my notes. I know they're really long, but let's face it, folks. This is a 2-hour episode. It's great fun, and this is how we're launching the whole series.
Absolutely. Rob Altus, welcome.
Hey, Rob!
I would just say something to you quickly. Papa Delta Yankee, I can appreciate that, but filth is not if you think it's too strong a word, I'm sorry, but it is an expressive of how I truly see anything that destroys something that I love that means so much to me, which is Star Trek, which is what the Jar Jar Abrams, the maggot infested, I should say, Jar Jar Abrams bad reboot, Alex Klutzman garbage does. That word is too kind. It's actually not strong enough for me. So just letting you know that I hear you, but but it's not too strong for me. It is crap track, as you call it. That's fine too. But however it sounds, it's an accurate descriptive from me anyway, for me. And so I proudly call it filth, and I think I'm being too kind.
And Papa Delta Yankee, I would just like to say that I have a refereed SOI for a doctorate in social science. I've worked very hard. I have a master's degree in communications and technology. I choose my diction. Diction is vocabulary. I choose my own vocabulary. And certainly everything after 2005 is filth.
It's the nicest word I can get by on the YouTube algorithm. But anyway, all right. Well, so here we go. Let us just say we'll start our. Again, I really think this episode was well done. It was a nice. I don't think it was. I mean, I still think that the two original series pilots are better, but I think this one. And actually, again, I think Counter Farpoint was really good, in spite of whatever other problems we have with TNG. But I think this one's right up there. Definitely better than that. A very good pilot, a nice beginning to the series. It's some really great stuff. It does a really nice job of introducing the characters, which is valuable, which is crucial. Starts off with a very Trek type of a story. Some of the stuff with his life and the things going on with Cisco, and they automatically make me really like Cisco. And the scenes, with Picard. Now again, he was a total, D to Picard. I mean,
Mhm.
blaming him for something that really was not his fault. But you can't tell a grieving person that. So that made for interesting conflict. I'm glad that they were kind of okay with it at the end. I'd rather them just, who needs a feud between the two. But it's no, I think it's a solid episode. Very, very nice introduction to the crew and to the series. And what is your rating of the Emissary, number one?
I have to give it an A. It has earned an A. And when I say that as a viewer. So somebody who watched it and said, wow, Star Trek's going to be smart again. This is great. We've been languishing in the swamp, in the poop swamp with TNG that last season. Oh, what a gong show. Oh, wow, great. Deep Space Nine. What smart Star Trek. So I'm saying that as a viewer, it's an A. And as an author and as an academic, I have to say, I love the density and I love this in medias res. You're immediately immersed in the story. It's already underway, and you're showing, you're not telling. And so this is a beautiful thing. You feel like you're on the station and there's all this stuff going on, and it's you who has to keep up. This is what smart storytelling is. This is the heart of science fiction. Is written for intelligent people who want to be challenged and want to be entertained. And so it does that. It does that. It does that. This is an A.
I too give it an A. Absolutely, we had the same rating there, and it's a quality episode. It is a nice start. You can't ask for a better start to a show. And of course, yeah. So great job by them and all. And now what we will do, folks, what we do on the show is we ask you, our wonderful friends in the chat, to give us your rating of the episode and any words you might have. If we could start keeping it at the 7 maximum now, because it was getting into the 10s and 11s and stuff before. We have 80 something chats or 80 something reviews, and it takes forever. But, we've now that we have back at doing 4 episodes again. It's different with the movies a little bit. If you could, I would appreciate that. So thank you so much. Number one is starring those while she is getting those ready. How about a little Max Redstone entertainment?
Okay, maximum Redstone.
We got
Okay,
some
I'm
Max
going to
Redstone.
put myself on mute so that those with sensitive hearing don't have to hear all the clickety click click clicks.
Actually,
I want to remind everyone that if you are new here, please do not hesitate to participate. We will definitely take your comments. We don't look at the grammar,
yes.
the spelling, or anything like that. We put them up on the marquee and we make you a part of this conversation. We want you to feel welcome and do that.
Yes, please do.
We know you're typing on cell phones and stuff like that. We're not looking at your grammar or your spelling. We just want to hear from you. So please feel welcome to do that if you're new here. We have a great crowd, and everyone will be friendly and welcoming and very supportive, no matter what your opinion is.
All right, folks. Max Redstone, the master of the limerick, and who regaled us with and entertained us with many fine and so often quite humorous lyrics for our journey through Star Trek: The Next Generation. The last couple of seasons has a limerick for each episode, for a couple of each episode actually of the evening. And here we go with the Emissary, folks. The Emissary by Max Redstone. Here we go. The Cisco family has been hit hard with drama levels worthy of the Bard. But Joran Trill and Ferengi and Chief O'Brien from the Transporter Room 3 will help our new hero who hates Captain Picard. He's got another one. Orbs that appear without trace to a wormhole. Now excuse me. He segmented them differently. Orbs that appear without trace to a wormhole. Now they all will race. Okay. I got to back it up. I'm having a little, I need to move my computer closer. And no, he did. Never mind. Let me just start again. Orbs that appear without a trace to a wormhole. Now they all will race. The Kai had Cisco quite bound, and a celestial temple he found. It almost turned out like Gilligan's Island in space. Nice one, Max. Okay, so I will start reading the reviews. And number one, I am now in the star. You can keep we can switch. You can keep, or no, you can stay there. You can keep starring them
I will
if you
keep
want.
starring them as they come
Okay.
in. So far, we have received 33 comments, Captain, and they are up for discussion.
Okay, doke. Well, everyone, feel free to write what you have to say. Okay. Lord Thoth had to run, but he left us a review of the Emissary. He says B plus, best pilot of all the Star Trek series. I hate to disagree with my buddy LT on that. By the way, if it's the best one, man, at B plus, I'm gonna have to have a time. Dude, you get too stingy again. I don't know, man. You're stingy, buddy. Nah, our Constable is, man. He is like Odo. He's turned into Odo. Very by the book. Anyway, very cool characters, a unique background, a fun sci-fi premise, and a grungy set station. Lower decks done way better. Hail the patriarchy, second best ST captain. I agree, he's the second best captain. Well, he's commander right now, but the Catman, aka J.D. Myers, says, Clobby, I give it a solid A. Good start. Good start. Wasn't for this, I would have gave up on Trek. Sorry, story was very heartfelt and emotional. Actors were okay. Favorite scene was when they were fishing. Okay. In the holiday.
Yeah, that is a great feeling. Hey, Dee Dee, I just love it. It's just so peaceful and it's so real. There's nothing, no one's trying to do Shakespeare on the holodeck and all this pretentiousness and affectation rather. And, I am for illusion and certainly cerebral pursuits, but I do love the fact that Jake is just smart enough to go put his pole in the pond and have a quiet moment. I just love it. And please say hello to your lovely wife for us, Dee Dee Myers.
JT Kirk says 9.5 out of 10. This is the best pilot episodes I've ever seen. Another one, a lot of people think it's the best one. Well, I just can't. Nothing touches the cage or where No Man Has Gone Before for me. But look, if they love this one the best, that's cool. I'll stop saying that. They keep saying it's the best. I'm like, wow, it's good. Let's see. Would be a 10 if Cisco had backhanded Patty. Wow. More anger towards Poopy Stew. Great ship scenes, powerful drama, Jadzia. Oh my, yeah.
Yep.
Kyle Parker, my Kai, yes.
Love you, JT. Great review.
Way better than Kai Wynn. Ugh.
Oh, Kai Wynn, Nurse Ratchet.
Oh boy, when we get to Nurse Ratchet, my goodness, I'm gonna have him. Michael Beacom says, A, the production team are comfortable with each other and the universe they are in, and it shows. They had TNG as a proving, I think he meant proving ground, and now they are talking. They were taking what they know works to a new venue. Indeedishness.
I agree.
There's a confidence here that was absent from TNG's first season.
True.
That is true. They know this universe and many of the characters, like O'Brien. The others though new, seemed well drawn and cast. Yes. And I think that they benefit from I think a lot of it is, in fairness to them. I don't like being fair to them since they're usually a bunch of putzes. But to be fair to them also, that's because they did have all those years working on another show, and they probably did learn a few things.
Yeah.
Are there more from Michael Beacom? I thought you said 4. Oh, there's 3. It's way down there. I got it.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a burp in the chat, boss. Things may be out of order thanks to good old StreamYard.
At the conclusion, as I watch Cisco and Picard, I realize I am really watching the writers in the guise of Cisco talking to Gene Roddenberry in the person of Picard. Hang on, I gotta find it. They express their mixture of gratitude for opportunities with their resentment of Gene's restrictions and signal that the kids are ready to move out of Dad's basement. I guess it could be. Well, could be, sir. Could well be. A+ from the great Hungry Boy, Hungry for Kira and Odo detective series. I would watch that. The first thing that struck me about this series was how it felt like best Steranko. Well, best Steranko's pretty damn good. Inking himself? Whereas TNG felt like Buckler on a getting through it weekly visual. I know, but I kind of liked Butler. Yes, but you're right. He was a competent copier. I agree with the criticisms about Buckler. He was an aper. The second thing was how more natural the dialogue felt versus TNG right off the bat, albeit finding its feet in the initial eps. I totally concur with that as well.
I just have to interrupt for a second here. I'm just going to put something up on the screen. I just want to get this dealt with and nip this right in the bud right now. Papa Delta Yankee says, and regarding Claptrap, if we are legacy fans, then we should hold ourselves to a higher standard when dealing with the fans of the filth. Gene would expect us to be uniters, not dividers. Look, Papa Delta Yankee, if you think you're here to preach to me about how I should treat other people, the rubber's not gonna hit the road here, my friend. We're here to talk about Star Trek, but the way that I criticize something, if it's taken personally and it becomes your fifis, we're probably not going to get along. I only speak for myself. I don't speak for Clobby, but mixing those two issues, it isn't a very good idea. When I give a criticism of something here, I speak freely about that issue. I choose my own words. They won't be policed by you or anyone else. And that has nothing to do with my behavior in real life or how I treat people. To make that leap is preposterous, and I don't like the inference. I treat everyone here with dignity, respect, loyalty, and kindness. And so, I don't appreciate your comment, okay?
I'll just add to that. Look, Papa Delta Yankee, all opinions and views are welcome here. In other words, if someone came in and said, guys, I like the new stuff, but I'm going to watch you guys anyway and hang out and be nice, that's fine. Now, again, that is not going to make me speak any nicer of the new stuff. But I'll tell you like this, just as if, for example, I love Star Trek, the original series. And if you were to say, I think Star Trek, the original series is garbage, I don't care what you say. I don't care if you do think it's garbage. Maybe some people do. I don't. So if me thinking a show that you like is garbage hurts your fifis and me calling it filth, then you're really not really the kind of guy that wants to hang out with for example, a guy like me, because I don't care if you insult something I like. And if you get insulted because I insult a TV show that, as far as I know, you didn't even have anything to do with producing, then that you have the issues, not me. And I'm not saying you personally, Papa Delta. Maybe you don't. You're trying to be nice and want to be a uniter. But the fact is that Alex Klutzman and that crew, the gang of Bad Reboot, the Jar Jar Abrams, they're not nice. They're not. They are the dividers, not us. They created this crap, and they didn't just say, hey, look, if you guys don't like it, we get it. No, they were belligerent. They attack those who don't buy into it. And the Drekkies, which is the people that follow them, the plenty of nice people that like that stuff that, in my opinion, just have bad taste. But there are their biggest, more rabid fan base for those shows, which is tiny, by the way, compared to the fan base of the real Star Trek. I mean, minuscule. It's like a bug. But the ones that do love that show, they're not nice. They are not uniters. They are the dividers, because anytime you criticize that show, whether calling it the filth or doing it in a relatively mellow manner, it doesn't matter. They will call you all kinds of nasty names, and they will not be nice to you. So, and
assume your political leanings and admonish you accordingly.
They will call you all kind of bad things, serious things, not just jerks or whatever. They'll call you all kind of. So they're Gene Roddenberry. Look, I don't know how he would have reacted to this stuff. William Shatner seems to think he'd be rolling in his grave what they're doing to it if you saw what he said the other day. And he knew Gene Roddenberry. And I think he would. But my point is, look, I'm nice to someone just because even if they like that stuff. Fine. You can like anything you want. Now, for example, if I don't know you that well, I'm gonna be as polite as I can and still I just think it's filth, it's crap. If you're a friend of mine that likes it, then we're gonna, I might, tease you a little bit here and there and joke around with you. But if you can't take the heat, you got to get out of the kitchen, I guess. And if you can't take someone calling a TV show, remember, a TV show, filth or crap or shite or whatever, you're a little sensitive, in my opinion.
Well, that's what the euphemism is. That's why the captain chose that word. He chose it one night when he and I were having a conversation, and it stuck because I thought it was hysterical. It's a euphemism for SHIT, and we don't swear around here. We avoid profanity at all costs.
A little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. So,
But I just want to say, You, sir, Pop, if you're still here, you're more than welcome here. Love having you. And you can have that. And by the way, no one's angry with you for having that opinion you just
No.
expressed, because remember, we showed it on the screen. All opinions are welcome. You don't
They
have to
are.
agree with us. And perfectly fine that you made that statement, but it has to work both ways. You have to be, hopefully you're perfectly fine with us just expressing our disagreement with what you said.
Yeah.
And I hope you're cool with that. So
Yeah.
again, love having you here. If you're cool, I think it's filth. I'm very angry about what they've done. I take it personally that the people, not some fan who says my show is filth. I'm talking about the people who have destroyed Star Trek, CBS, Les Moonves, Jar Jar Abrams, Alex Klutzman, and all those people. I take personally what they did. I call it filth.
And calling Gene a whole bunch of names and making a whole bunch of false accusations.
Talk about Gene Roddenberry. Those people have just attacked him a lot. So we'll get back to our review. But I think it's something
before we do, Larry says something really great. He says, if a Dreckie were to come here, we would treat them well. And I want to say hello to Larry. I love you. And you are right. If a Dreckie or a Drekker were to come here, we would treat them well. And Papa Delta Yankee says, I want to apologize for my tone. It came off as authoritative, not trying to dictate at all. Okay, but you got to keep yourself in check there, sweetheart, because my vocabulary is my vocabulary. I will never speak down to you, but I will speak to the exemplar, the IP, in whatever way I choose. But I thank you for your apology. Apology accepted. Please continue, because I love hearing what you think. As long as you're respectful of the fact that I also think completely differently than you. And the Nerdporial Life Form says, hello, Clobby.
Hey.
And he says, I can listen to Raquel for hours. That's an incredibly kind of you to say, Nerdporial Life Form. Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you, buddy. And yeah, hey, Papa, I hope you'll hang with us and always be friends with us, whether we have disagreements or not. So let me continue now with our reviews of the Emissary. We're kind of running behind here, but it was the pilot, so it was good to spend some time with it. But we'll get these reviews done now. And got quite a few of them. Shooter 8323 says, right from the start, we are brought back to one of the most significant events in TNG, the horror scene from the first officer as the ship is going down and his desperation to save his family. Yep, absolutely. His behavior as someone who doesn't want to be there, but doesn't let that on, and will do his job until relieved is believable, as is his hostility towards Picard. Gotcha. Hang on. Get you the next one here. Let me find hang on a second, Shooter. I have to get down to that one. The Bajoran and Cardassian issues are effectively set up. The wormhole discovery equally explained in its significance scientifically for exploration and religiosity. Or religiously. I like the word.
He's apologizing to you, boss. He's saying, man, I suck at writing. Shooter, you do not suck at writing. This is not the easiest medium for writing, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. We know exactly what you mean, and we fill in the blanks wherever we can. Between the autocorrect, the autocomplete, and the weird medium, the way that you have to express yourself and be so concise, we understand, and we just love your comments. So don't judge yourself. Just have a good time.
I can't find if he had a fourth one or not. I think, was that 3 or 4? There's 4. Got you. Oh man, this thing's wonky, everyone. I'll get into all of them though, I promise. Some of the conclusion felt a little rushed, but overall the episode is well placed and ends with the promise of interesting things to come. A great way to start the series. Teacher. Raymond Feliciano says. Wait a minute, did I do all of the Hungry Boys?
No, I believe you left one undone. I believe his final comment.
Oh, I got 2 of them here. Did I?
Oh, you got 2? Okay, let's get them done.
Did you break into when I was doing his or something? That's what it was. I never got back to his. I didn't get to finish him. That's what it was. I'm sorry I didn't get back to yours, Hungry Boy. That threw me off big time, the whole thing with us when we got off track. So now I've got 3 and 4. I promise I'll get to yours, Raymond, in just a second. The presence of the presence of A. Brooks with his bearing manner instantly thrilled me and told me we will receive something special here. A non-visitor charmed me immediately. Oh, yeah. And I'm sorry about that again, hungry boy. To get sidetracked like that, I just totally forgot where I was.
Not your fault, honey.
With the Farpoint plot, I had serious doubts. With this, no doubts. The chemistry was working from the outset. A grand underpainting for the portrait to come. Indeed,
Dave Bob. I said Dave Bob has to go to bed. Good night, Dave Bob.
All right,
Everybody
Bob.
say good night to Dave.
Be good, Dave Bob. I say Dave Bob. Raymond says, hey, it was a very solid start to the series. I was a fan of Avery Brooks and loved how he brought his Hawk style. Yeah, he was great as Hawk. Great as Hawk style, but having a soft spot as a single parent. I've always thought that the Jake, the father and son relationship between Cisco and Jake was beautiful. One of the most beautiful things about the show. I really love it. As a father myself, you can see he is working on a team. You could tell that Odo is going to be a game breaker. Kira is a fantastic foil to Cisco. Quark, enough said. I enjoyed Dax, Bashir, and O'Brien. Indeed, it's a great cast, man. And I really wanted Cisco to cold cock Picard. I really did. The concept of the wormhole is groundbreaking and will bring more thrills. Well done. And so
What
Raymond
a great
was
review,
happy
Raymond.
as well. Well done, sir. And to call him Scuba, he says, this was so different yet familiar and reeled me back to watching Star Trek again on TV.
Love you, Scuba.
Indeed, Scuba-ishness. So let's see here. Okay, well, if you'd like to, number one, if you would take into the star position and read the reviews from our friends Ed and Jill.
You got it, boss. I'm moving over to the star tab right now.
And I shall switch with you there.
Look at this. Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear, is here to drop the mic. Ouch. He's got a 6-parter. He's giving this episode an A. He says, Emissary is a masterclass in how to launch a new series. It expertly laid the foundation for the stories that follow, even though some of those didn't quite match the excellence on show here. Couldn't agree more. Beautiful comments as usual, and also well wrought. 2 out of 6. At its heart, DS9 is quintessentially Star Trek. It's still about exploration and an optimistic future, even though the world within which it lives is precarious and could collapse at any time. Yeah, you definitely have that sense of urgency, don't you? It's good writing. 3 out of 6. This precariousness, a serial tension, where maybe he's going to say it was a clever counterpoint to its forebears. Indeed, even the prophets are a clever metaphor for the difference between episodic and serialized stories. Oh my goodness, sweetheart. Oh, I wish I could just plaster this comment all over the internet. Gloriousness, gloriousness. The prophets see the past, present, and future simultaneously. The order of events doesn't matter. Their experience is episodic, whereas Cisco explains our experiences as being serial in nature. What a very cerebral connection you have made there, Enigmatic Drop Bear. You are an effing rock star tonight. Cisco, Kira, Quark, Odo, O'Brien, and Ducat were spectacular right out of the gate. The discordance, yet dependence, and their relationships cleverly frames the larger world that they occupy. Oh, this is one of your best reviews, Edie. A final note about Kira. The self-righteous, patriotic female ex-terrorist defined by her religion is a character that would struggle to find a place in the post-9/11 world. Oh my goodness. I love you. That was great. That was great.
Well done.
Please stand up and take a bow. Stand up and take a bow. Perfection. Let's move on to our communications officer, our illustrious communications officer, anti-derivative Jill. She's a fellow nerd and a fellow INTJ. Let's uncover what she has to say. She's got a 5-parter here. She's giving this episode an A. She says, seeing the battle of Wolf 359 from the perspective of the fleet in battle with the Borg was a thrilling introduction to Sisko. I agree. It helps you understand his grief and anger towards Picard. Totally agree. Sisko is my favorite TV father, and this episode puts that aspect front and center, showing how he balances getting the station up and running and manages the emotional needs of Jake. Yes, women are familiar with this enterprise, but seeing a man, I just think it's just an outstanding example for society to see this story not often told. I love the setup of Kira as someone who was worried that the Federation would be just another restraining force on the Bajoran people, like the Cardassians were. Nog starts as a delinquent. Yeah, he's a little SHIT. He's those bugs, when he does that thing with the bugs, little naughty man. I don't like that Sisko felt he had to blackmail Quark to stay on the station to get Nog out of trouble.
That's a good point.
But sorry?
No, good. I'm saying that's a good. I understand what you mean.
No, reflect.
What?
No, just that I don't like that Sisko felt that he had to blackmail Quark. You guys don't like that?
No, I'm just saying I know what she means. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that that's a cool comment, because I sort of felt like Sisko was smart enough to get down to Quark's level and speak his language, which is money, 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 and money. But anyway, I just think your comments are cool. And Clobby, you can interrupt me whenever you like.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I actually love it when you interrupt me.
Hello, Scotty.
But it shows Sisko isn't shy about doing what it takes to make his missions successful. And then her final comment is, the Prophet aliens don't realize they are tormenting Sisko with visions of his wife, leading to his great speech. They see time all at once, and in that way remind me of the Guardian of Forever. Oh, Jill.
Yes.
I love you, Jill. I love your comments. You made me think about things I wasn't thinking about. I love you. I love you. I love you. Great job. I'm going back over to the live tab.
Alrighty.
Boss?
Hey, I didn't know Gwagnar was here. Gwagnar! I don't think we saw him earlier, did we?
I did.
Welcome, Gwagnar. And welcome, Scotty. Okay, anyway, Gwagnar says, grade C, a better pilot than STTNG, but the actors are still finding their characters, and the plot was fine for the setup of the series, but otherwise just okay. Thank you, Gwag. Appreciate you. Dogman writing walking, sorry. Says B. He says B plus. B plus. Is that a word? B plus? I'm just kidding. B plus. I'm just messing with you. That's my buddy Dad, man. A solid start to the show, and loved the battle in context to show Sisko's contempt for Picard. I've always loved that they started that in TNG when they called. Does everyone know what Wolf 359 is a reference to? Old Outer Limits episode. Anyway, everyone knows that. Maybe
no, but it's because you told us before. It's because you're a giant geek brain.
Oh, okay.
You're just a pulsating geek brain. I'm going to start calling you Sargon.
No, I'm more like one of those little tiny ass gamesters. Triskelion. I'm one of the providers. I'm not even a good one. Like a lump of Jello. However, why was Picard acting like he did? Extremely harsh and not like he was in TNG to his crew. I don't know. Picard looked a little. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly what you mean there, damn it. I thought he was a little. When someone comes up to you and basically brings up such a horrible event that you've been through, like when he was low cute ass, and kind of blames him for killing his wife, which I don't know if Picard's experienced that. I think he was kind of rightly, little disturbed by it. How else would he react? I don't know. But I hear you. But I'm with you, brother. Thank you for that. Phantom Outsider was on. What's up? B. I was a bit worried as having the powerful, mysterious wormhole god so close at hand could have been used way too often. Also, the whole they chose Sisko plot armor, liked every Let's see. Liked Avery from Spencer for Hire. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I remember back when they first announced him as captain. I'm like, oh, cool, it's Hawk. Which he was really good on that show. Sandra Feliciano says, "Hey, it was a great introduction to a new type of Trek. Avery Brooks was great. The different species reactions to change and ownership, and how Cisco reacted to all of the changes was active, not wooden."
Yeah,
Indeed,
what a
Sandra.
wonderful comment. And I'd like to welcome Tim's Talk. Good evening, Tim's Talk.
Hey, Tim's Talk. Welcome, man. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, let's see here. Where are we? Oh, Mrs. Dadman says, "Hey, I really enjoyed this episode. Everything that I like was pretty much already said. Writing, characters, acting, all was superb. Looking forward to the rest of DS9. That's excellent.
Beautiful.
Thank you
I'm so happy you're here, beautiful lady. This is
Great
going
to
to be
see
so
you.
much fun having you here.
Max Redstone says, "Hey, I give 1 bar and 3 strips of gold press latinum. You can now see where the brain drain from TNG was going. I loved that the prophets didn't understand linear time and Quark, community leader." Yep. A lot of good stuff in it. There's no question about it. I hear you there, Maxer. Diesel says, "Hey, it was pretty good. I did thoroughly enjoy Cisco punking out Picard. I never watched DS9 when it came out. I was all about the X-Files back then. I kind of went overboard this week." Well, I hear you.
Quick interruption. I beg your pardon, Captain. Sandra Feliciano has an early morning. She has to call it a night. She has to be up very early. Everyone, please say good night to Mrs. Feliciano.
Good night, Sandra. Have a wonderful night. Diesel says, "I watched all of season 1. I know this is kind of off topic, but the DS9 station looks a lot like the thermostat on my old 1971 Buick Skylark." Now that you mention it, you know what? I love that station. I think it's beautiful. I never can get enough look. That's why I don't mind those opening credits, which it's a really nice theme song. I don't skip the intro or the intro. I sit there and listen to it because I love doing that with TV anyway. And I just love looking at that damn station. I mean, I look at it and I get mesmerized when I look at it. Like, I want to live on that thing.
Yeah, I felt the same way when I was watching Babylon 5. Boss man, Raymond is actually leaving Raymond, early tonight. So good night, Raymond. I know the Felicianos have an early morning. Have a lovely day tomorrow. And I would like to welcome Boss man, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Mr. Tickle Trunk, one of my favorite dudes on the internet, is here. How you doing, sweetheart?
What is up, buddy? Good to see you there. Good to see you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Let's see, where were we? Okay. I watched all of season 1. And we got that one. Sorry. Thank you so much for that, Diesel. Wolfie says, rating A. I love this so much I wore out the VHS recorded on the first airing. The opening theme to this is a musical work of art itself, indeed. Love the return to the TOS film era font for the titles. Great continuity with the Wolfie 359. The Wolfie 359 Fallout. He put Wolfie 359 instead of Wolfie 359. Cisco worked at Utopia Planitia Yards rebuilding the fleet. More on that later. This battle is epic. Wow, Excelsior class Melbourne never had a chance.
Yeah, and, I knew he was going to say stuff like this. I just love it. Everyone, and Boss Man, I hate to interject. I beg your pardon, but the nerdporeal life form is calling it a night, so he would just like to say good night to the panel and to the chat. Everyone, say good night to Nerdporeal. Good night, Nerdporeal.
Good night, Nerd. See you Thursday night. Wednesday night, I think. Let's see here. Okay. Where was I? Oh, man. Okay, I got me. Set design. Wow, a working screens, giant promenade, runabout helm has telemetry measurements to show motion drool. Wow, he drooled over it. Another one of the great things about this show, Wolfie, is that you don't feel like you're on a cramped up ship. You don't. I mean, you feel like it makes you want to live on that station. It's so. I mean, it's just it really sucks you in that way.
Fires the imagination, and it's so immersive, and you have all these dreams of being on that station. I had them too, Clobby. Very intense feeling of I want to go there. I want to be there.
It really makes you, when you're watching that show, it pulls you in. You feel like you're on that station. It's amazing. Another Miranda class, USS Saratoga, NCC 31911 versus NCC 1887 STIV. This is ST. Never mind. This is one. This is one. This is one. I think is an interesting. This one. I think it is this one. Interesting variant. A brilliant reuse of the Reliant model from the Wrath of Khan. Thank you so much, Wolfie. Appreciate you, brother.
And I have to interject
he's got one
because
more.
Wendy Webb, the trauma warrior, and Jimmy are leaving. They have they've just received an emergency call, so our trauma warrior is being deployed. Go ahead, Wendy, and go ahead, Jimmy, and we'll see you folks again.
Have a great night. Absolutely. One more from Wolfie. I forgot. The model work in this episode is the best to date in Star Trek. This is on par with the new models we get in Star Trek 3, ST3. I think it means ST3. The DS9 station, Saratoga Escape Shuttle, Danube. I think it means Danube runabout. I love the runabouts.
Yep.
And they're all named after rivers. It's always kind of fun.
I would just like to welcome to the chat. Sorry to interject again. We got lots of activity here tonight, boss. I beg your pardon. But Chasing 80s Toys are here.
Oh, wow. Chasing 80s Toys. Hey there.
It's so good to see you.
Welcome. Good to see you there.
I love their chat, even though I don't know anything about collecting or the merchandise or the models that they know, like all the intimate details about and for. I still love those guys. They're just the laughs and the kindness and the great conversation, sweetest people. I love those folks.
Well, appreciate you having. It's great to have you here, my friend. We're going to burn through the rest of these as quickly as we possibly can. We are way behind. B plus says Pleasant Valley Picker. Cisco is my second favorite captain. He begins as a very grounded character, losing his wife, still not really moving on. He's haunted by her ghost. The variety of characters is a bit overwhelming at first. Still, once the show has time to evolve and the writers develop them, they're great characters and very fully developed. Where TNG characters were all never developed as much as they could have been. A solid pilot. The plot elements about nonlinear time was very interesting. Thank you, Pleasant Valley.
Has asked what the Cardassians call Deep Space Nine. I believe it's Terok Nor.
Terok Nor. That's right. Yep. And the other station, like it was Impak Nor.
Yeah.
Noir later.
That comes later, but we can't talk about it. The one that shall not be named.
Well, it's just the station. It's the name of an episode, for God's sake. Chris Persia says, a pleasant, intelligent plot for the series, the pilot, for the series, which created interest in its core cast members. Clearly one win at Quark's Bar. Dubbo. Thank you, bro.
Chris.
Appreciate you, buddy. Papa Delta Yankee says B. Great start, but not without its clunkiness and obvious inconsistencies going forward. It sets a good tone and expectations for the coming series. Thank you so much, Papa Delta Yankee. JT Kirk with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Kai Wynn can lick a ghost pepper thumbs a stick. As long as I don't have to watch it, she can do whatever she wants. Don't make me watch it. I'm fine. Yeah, that Anax Amanda Bear says an A. How refreshing after the downfall of TNG. Already so many cool, likable characters and acting. Plus, Jake isn't some kind of wonderkind.
Yep. I totally agree, Niraj.
That's so true. Jake is not. Nog was pretty annoying for me for many years. I got to admit, I didn't like Nog, the whole Jake Nog thing. But he's not. We're not talking Wesley level, so it's fine. Cavatino Calimenche, hello and welcome. 9.5 strips of gold plus platinum for Emissary.
I love that rating.
How could Starfleet have appointed a commander to an outpost? I don't know. Most military posts have major generals or rear admirals in command. Divine intervention? I don't know. Good pernt. Well done. Well done. Mr. Tickle Trump says rating 100. I don't know where you are because I just got here, but I'm pumped for the series. Welcome, buddy.
Love you,
Good to see you.
sweetheart. We'll get
Chasing
you all
Dating
caught up.
Toys says, "Hey, chat, D Space Nine, great intro, great cast, and interesting storyline. You really feel the isolation of that outpost in space. Must rewatch soon."
Yay!
Indeed. And for our final review of The Emissary, folks, the great engineer himself, Mark D with a C, gives it an A-. Great setup for a new Trek. I had my doubts. Trek on a space station, but they pulled it off with great writing and acting. The new characters are interesting. And this is a promising start to Casablanca in space. Also a truly an emotional, devastating episode that brings the characters to life.
Yep.
Cisco, oh, he's giving quotes now. And I have never figured out how to live without her, Jennifer. Yeah. So you chose to exist here. It is not linear. No, it's not linear. That was a killer scene.
That quote. That's the quote where I always break down and have a little quiet cry.
If Ash comes back, is he allowed 19 parts reviews? No. No.
Ash pick.
I'd love to have him back, but nobody will be. No. Wow. Well, there you go, everyone. The Emissary, the pilot. We are now full on reviewing Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and we have 3 more episodes to tackle. We're going to try to get them a little bit quicker if we can. So are you ready for the next episode?
I will. I am. I mean, sorry.
It's kind of fuzzy on which is which, but I think which one is, what do you got next?
Well, according to the companion, it's doing it in the prod order. The next one is Man Alone.
That's what it is.
The thing is Netflix and online and then broadcast dates are all in conflict. So some people call this season 1, episode 4, and some people call this season 1, episode 2. But it's important to refer to the prod number, which is 403. So then you know that you're going in the proper order when things get a little mucky there.
Papa Delta Yankee, I was wondering if you were serious on that one. But if you are, that's fine too. Anyway, I'm just going to go with Man Alone. By the way, I remember this being the second one aired, and I'm talking not by anything it says in a book. I remember watching it this following week.
Yeah, so anyway, well, Post Prologue was actually broadcast on January 11th, 1993 originally. And this one is January 18th, 1993.
Huh. Well,
but there is some stuff that goes on with Kira's hair. So that might have been why they reverted back to the prod order, because
this one seems like it's before that. Yeah.
Yeah, Nana Visitor's hair goes through some changes, and so maybe they wanted to correct that. I'm actually not sure. Maybe it will be in the book. Let me start reading here.
Yeah, well, we'll just call it number 2. What the hell? Let's get them guns. That's the more important thing.
That's right. And episode number 403. So the Emissary is 401 and 402. This one is 403. Let's stay copyright compliant, shall we? I'm going to be reading excerpts from Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion. It's written by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. This is original source material, which means that the interviews and the material found in this book come directly from the folks that wrote, produced, directed, starred in, and everything else you could imagine where DS9 is concerned. I'm going to be reading extemporaneously, which means this is a cold read, so it might sound a little rough, but I want it to be organic. We experience it together. So please turn your hymnal to page 18. Let's get it on.
I knew this was going to happen about the conflict about this or post prologue, but what the hell? I remember, maybe I missed a week and then caught this one. This was 1993. I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. I believe I believe what you said about the airing. So I'm just going to go ahead and treat this one like the second episode because, quite frankly, I don't want to change the marker thing. So it's now officially. I think it was probably filmed before past prologue. But go for it.
Okay, let's do it. A Man Alone from page 18. The shakedown period on the space station continues as its inhabitants come to terms with their new lives and each other. Dax attempts to refocus Bashir's amorous thoughts with meditation techniques. Jake tries to befriend Nog, the only boy his age on the station, and Keiko wonders what she can do in her home to feel useful. In the meantime, Odo makes a troubling discovery. Ibudan, a Bajoran that he once arrested for murder, is back on the station. Although Odo wants the criminal off the station, Cisco insists that he has no legitimate reason to make him leave. Not long after, Ibudan is found stabbed to death in a hollow suite. As Odo mounts his investigation, Cisco is distracted by a different problem. With too much free time on his hands, Jake has managed to get into trouble with his new pal, Nog. But Cisco's problem seems to provide a solution to Keiko's dilemma. She'll start a school on the station, thus giving Jake and the other children and herself something meaningful to do with their time. The evidence associated with Ibudan's death seems to finger Odo as the prime suspect, and the Bajoran residents of the station become suspicious and hostile toward the shapeshifter. Although the station crew doubts the theory, Cisco reluctantly relieves Odo of his duty as security chief. In the meantime, Bashir analyzes some odd DNA fragments that he found in Ibudan's quarters, which seem to indicate that the Bajoran was performing some sort of medical experiment. The tension aboard the station grows worse as angry residents vandalize Odo's office, and a volatile mob demands justice. But suddenly Bashir appears with startling news. The dead man is not Ibudan. He is a clone created and later killed by Ibudan in order to frame Odo for the crime. The real Ibudan is quickly discovered by Odo and arrested for the murder of his own clone. A Man Alone was filmed prior to the episode past prologue, despite its later air date, and contains much of the expository information that one would expect of a series' first regular episode. Viewers are provided with information regarding Trills and Cisco's relationship with Curzon Dax that didn't make it into the pilot, and the station school is started by Keiko, thus providing a fertile setting for stories featuring Jake and Nog. The two boys become friends in the episode. Little Molly O'Brien makes her first appearance on DS9, as does her mother Keiko. Rom, who appears in the pilot but was identified in the credits only as Ferengi Pit Boss, is established as Nog's father and Quark's slow-witted brother. I originally read the role of Quark, says Max Grodenchik, previously seen as a Ferengi in the Next Generation episodes, Captain's Holiday and The Perfect Mate. But Grodenchik thought that the reading went poorly. I was so depressed that I went out and sat on the steps at the Gower Street walk-in entrance to the studio. And in that little while, Armin came out and befriended me. He said, I think it was between you and me for the role of Quark. And I said, how do you know? And he said, well, we were the only two short people there. The pair went on to discuss all things Ferengi, with Shimmerman mentioning the planned character of Nog and the fact that he'd heard that Nog would have a father. Shimmerman suggested that if Grodenchik didn't get the role of Quark, that Nog's father might be a nice part. After Shimmerman was cast as Quark, Grodenchik says Armin actually recommended me for Rom, and they gave it to me. Drawing from a list of directors they already knew and respected, the producers scheduled Canadian-born Paul Lynch to direct 5 episodes for the first season of the series, beginning with A Man Alone. Lynch had already directed 5 episodes of TNG, starting with the second installment, The Naked Now. At that time, the director had predicted that TNG would air for at least 5 or 6 years, and when he began working at DS9 across the lot, TNG was beginning its 6th season. I guess they thought of me as kind of a good luck charm, Lynch laughs. And my feeling was that Deep Space Nine would go 7 years. A companion with the episode that aired a week earlier points up some differences in Odo's facial makeup and Kira's hair, past prologue, which had not made their evolutionary turn toward the look with which viewers are most familiar. On the other hand, from a makeup point of view, Quark came into his own nose. That is, I knew about this part. According to makeup artist Karen Westerfield, who was responsible for Quark's makeup throughout the entire series, the final face and nose for everyone's favorite Ferengi was being sculpted during the filming of Emissary. And as a result, Quark actually appeared in the pilot wearing the proboscis that had been made from Max Grodenchik. Quark received a nose of his own in A Man Alone, but Armin Shimmerman was disappointed that the first season's gallery shots, the product of the yearly photo session set up by Paramount Television publicity department, portrayed him in his brother's nose. Shimmerman admits he found a lot to worry about in the early days of the show. The fact that A Man Alone didn't air until a week after past prologue and that he did not appear in a later episode concerned him a great deal. I thought, I'm not in the first episode to air after the pilot. Oh, they hate me. I used to sit backstage with Nana Visitor and we'd talk about the fact that if we didn't do a good job, they could just fire us because my contract said that if they didn't like me after the 4th or 5th episode, they could just get rid of me. The episode provides one of DS9 art department's first opportunities to indulge in the kind of behind-the-scenes in-joke humor that was such a trademark of TNG. And it goes on for about a half page more. It's just some production stuff. I think we should stop there and make up some time. Boss man?
Okay. Sure. Interesting stuff about that though is what a ride his character goes. So Armin Shimmerman's terrific. Later to be Principal Skinner on Buffy, everyone remembers. So for a while he was Quark, and he was two characters on the two big TV shows. Who else has done that? Yeah, he was Quark, and he was Principal Skinner. Anyway, but Max Grodenchik, what it was funny how it just goes to show you that they don't even. I don't mean this is a bad thing, but they don't always regard their own continuity on their own shows, because a few years later, Ron became a completely different character than he was.
He did.
But anyway, so I thought this was an okay episode. Like I say, this was a good kind of a characterization episode. Actually, there were some interesting ideas. It was a murder mystery, I know. But it wasn't like Murder, She Wrote either. I mean, it was still done in a very science fiction context and with characters that we really like, and it was a think it was actually pretty clever, and all in all, and it also dealt with other issues too, the prejudice against Odo and different things like that. All in all, I don't consider it like a great episode or anything, but I consider it a fairly solid one, solid episode that continues and furthers the characterization of the show. So I like the episode for the most part. Notes?
Yes. First, I just want to say to JT Kirk, proboscis, what a cool word. JT Kirk, interesting story. I first learned the word proboscis when I was about 7 years old. And it was because a butterfly had landed on my hand, and my mother told me that the butterfly was going to unfurl its proboscis to drink the perspiration off of my fingers. And so I always used that word around adults because I thought it made me sound like I knew what I was talking about. But it is a glorious word, isn't it? But primarily, it's a cumulative connotation. It's not just for human beings. It's a cumulative connotation, I believe, is in reference to the unfurling of a butterfly's nose, sort of its probe that it drinks or smells to see if it can drink from. So interesting trivia for you, keeping it sciencey up in the house. I'm profoundly uncool. Sorry for that, JT Kirk. Anyway, here are my notes. The star dates are disputed by fans. This happens again in this episode. Keiko is disgustingly annoying. Keiko is for me the Neelix of DS9. And then we have when she was a he before she got this new body. And once again, we're going to talk about the people who are delusional in the filth, these Drekkies that have this idea about what they think they know. I'm going to remind everybody it's 1993. This is a murder mystery, which is not my favorite device for any type of Star Trek, even one that doesn't involve Gene Roddenberry. Rom explains the
Yeah.
misogyny on Ferenginar. I thought that was quite interesting. Quark's friendship and loyalty and his truthfulness are revealed here. And this, once again, it's getting back to what Clobby and I talked about on the Clubhouse. This sort of return to Gene Roddenberry's idea of the complex Ferengi. So we love this. We love this. And it's helping us to learn to love Ferengi. Thanks to Quark. Yes. So this helped viewers to like Ferengi and see them in a new way. Odo rips the mask off of the murderer. This is Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Yeah, it was so Scooby-Doo.
First, we have the clone, Scooby-Doo. Then we have the murder mystery, Scooby-Doo. And then we have the angry locals, Scooby-Doo. And then we have the literal and figurative unmasking, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. So those are all my notes.
Oh, there you go. We'll speed it up. Then Keely Chow, hello there. Good to see you.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Well, yeah, I hope your tide is rolling there, Keely. Good to see you. Yeah, like I said, I found it to be at least. I mean, I liked some of the stuff, the idea behind how I mean, like I said, I don't disagree with you. I don't really care for a murder mystery either. I don't really need to see a murder mystery. But I still, again, when they do, I don't know what it is, but somehow when they do something like this on TNG, it's just annoying and makes me angry. This doesn't bother me because I like these characters. And I thought that was a pretty interesting concept of what he did. He murdered his own clone just to frame Odo. I thought that was pretty interesting stuff, and it was a science fiction concept in use there. And I do like that. I liked all that kind of stuff. I like some of the character stuff. It did also talked about prejudices, as Trek often does, about that everyone has against Odo. So, and it also had that's a Roddenberry element. Another Roddenberry element, something he used to do all the time on Have Gonna Travel, Will Travel, was about mob mentality. The show talks about that a little bit. Yep. Overall, and again, I'm with you. The Keiko stuff, the school stuff, the domestic stuff, which is part of this show, but fortunately not a gigantic, huge part. And I don't like Keiko. That stuff I can take or leave. But it is an episode that is a building block episode that has relevant building blocks in terms of the other characters. So it's an okay watch for me. Not a great one or anything, but again, I it's not not masks or anything. Or
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling changelings.
It's not Sobrosa or anything, though, you know.
No, it's not Sabrosa. No one's going to be having wet dreams.
Right. Or it's not, what was that? Aquiel. It's not that kind of annoying.
No, it's not Aquiel.
It's just fine.
There will be no glowing sex rocks.
Right. No sex rock stuff. So anyway, what is your rating of A Man Alone? I'll give mine, and then I will give the go ahead for our lovely chat to give their reviews.
It's too much zoinks for me, so C+.
C+. Gotcha. I have it at a C, and I thought that was like a fair enough rating where it was just not terrible. C, look, a C's not terrible. Although, in fact, on TNG that'd be like a ranting, raving review of, you know, be like, wow, a C, that was really great if that was in season 7. All right, anyway. So,
Chris Persia says, interesting. I don't know whether our man Bashir is Scrappy Doo or gender swapped Velma. Care to help, Raquel?
Right, Bruggy. Okay. So, my friends, please launch your any rating you may have of the episode, My Man with Alone. And any words you might have to say. And while you're doing that, number one, we'll store those.
I will.
And I will get us some Max Redstone entertainment. The great Max Redstone, the maximum lyric man, has been kind enough to bless us with some of his lyrics. Are we ready?
Yes. Attention, Kmart shoppers. This is your XO speaking. The word is given. Fire at will.
And since Will's not on the show anymore, you're going to have to fire at someone else. All right. Sorry.
That was a good one. I bet you somewhere Scuba Pete is like, he did a full-on belly laugh. That was excellent.
That's
Excellent.
Scuba Pete. That's Scuba Pete. You can't trust him. He has no sense of humor.
I love him. He's the best.
He's the man. Okay, A Man Alone by the great Max Redson, everyone. He goes, Murder, She Wrote Again, isn't that cruel? Even Keiko doesn't think that is cool. This wasn't a retcher. Odo is no Jessica Fletcher. And Mrs. O'Brien manages to start up a school. Whoa!
Maximum Redstone.
Maximum Redstone. Well done, buddy. Well done.
I love him. I love him. He's hysterical.
Let's see what we have here. We'll see what we have up in here. Papa Delta Yankee said 4 out of C or 4 out of 7. I think this one. This seems like a cool one, yet I don't remember it. So since it doesn't resonate as well as others, that tells me it wasn't very strong. It didn't age well as other memorable episodes. Fair enough. Wagner says C minus. I rewatched DS9 at least a couple of years, but honestly, I didn't remember anything about this episode until I watched it again this week. That's a fair call. Shooter says C. A murder mystery. Motivation for the killer felt weak. The clone angle is okay. The primary focus on the mob mentality and discrimination, while believable, is frustrating to watch. Indeed. The best part of the episode is exploring Quark and Odo's relationship as rivals, as opposed to enemies. That's a very good point, Shooter. I'm glad you made that, because that is one of the standouts for me. I really like I even like it, how Quark defends Yodo, but behind his Odo, behind his back, of course.
Yep.
But he does.
Yeah, it's marvelous. It tells you so much about his character. And for me, that kind of stuff in real life really, really matters, because I'm a super loyal person, and I say the truth behind someone's back as well, as straight to their face. And so just the fact that he did that, it totally changed the way I thought about Ferengi after that. I was like, wow.
They really, one of the greatest. There are a lot of great, and I'm not saying I watch shows for relationships, mind you. However, they're necessary for good characterization. And some of the greatest relationships in all of Trek are in this show throughout the whole thing. And one of the best ones is Quark Odo.
Yep.
I mean, there are other. I like Bashir O'Brien. There are a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. But Quark Odo, wow, it's just special.
Yep.
Michael Beacom says B minus. A Bonanza script dusted off and given a sci-fi refit. But this is okay, because we still need to get to know our people. So comfortable cliches add and emphasizing the character interaction. Pleasant Valley says C. Not bad, not great. It's just fine. Filler. I kind of call it a building block in a sense, though. Pleasant, because again, they're just getting started. They need to set their characters up. So I have no problem with that. And it's very first seasony, but not as bad as some first seasony stuff. It's better than ripping off the Naked Time with the Naked Now.
Oh boy, and ripping off Charles Dickens and Oscar Wilde and anybody they could.
Absolutely. B plus says the great hungry for Akira and Odo detective series. Being a cinephile since before I can shave and a fan of Dirty Harry, well, who isn't greatness, the addition of Andrew Robinson, that's next week, or next episode, made the series 50 times better for me. We're on different episodes than that one, buddy. But he wasn't in this one. He was in past prologue, right? That's where he started. Anyway, I dig a murder mystery, so I was quite happy for the element of this ep, which showed respect to the genre, and knowing he would be there week to week was as much as an enticement as knowing Nimoy would be there for me in TOS every episode. Plus, Larsa and Baytar, again, that's a different episode. Pulchritude didn't hurt either, Lyle. So that's I think you accidentally conflated Man Alone and Past Prologue. But that's okay.
I don't blame them. So many people nowadays are streaming everything. Just that it's so difficult because it's just you just keep watching.
That's cool. I mean, I'm just saying. But that's you can just it happens, dude.
Yep.
Papa Delta Yankee says C and 4 out of 7 is just a different one though. Not super memorable with some cool concepts and not super cringe like Naked Now, so it wasn't bad. Just not great either. Okay.
Hungry Boy, you do not have to apologize.
Oh, don't apologize.
I love you. I love all of your comments. You're incredibly bright and just wonderful to be around. Please continue to comment. You've been painting all week.
Dude.
You're like a mad scientist in your lab, and you streamed these episodes. Don't even give it another thought. I love you. You should rename yourself Brain Boy, not Hungry Boy. I love you. Don't worry.
Don't worry about that, dude. Yeah, I was only pointing it out because I figured you might want to, when we get to the next episode, so you might want to review that one and remember. Anyway, but no, dude, it ain't nothing, man. Don't worry about that stuff.
Yeah, don't worry.
You know how much I screw up every damn thing I read, so don't even. And you're always nice to me when I screw up, which is every 5 minutes. So I give it a solid B. Love the story of that the actors did a halfway good job. Says Catman, aka JD Myers. Thank you. JT Kirk gives it a 7 out of 10. Kate goes, I'll be a teacher insulted my wife, a master's of education holder, that you can just be a teacher with such ease. Like it's a hobby. Weird the Federation doesn't have holographic teachers. That's a good point.
What a great point.
She's more like the school marm.
Yep. And everyone, may I please interject? I beg your pardon, but Masters Maniac Mexico just walked through the door.
Hey, Masters. Good to see you. Let's see here. Okay. Where am I? Max Redstone says B-. I didn't enjoy the angry Bajoran mob aspects. This will show at other times in the first 2 seasons. Having residual anger from resistance groups is okay. They lack their primary antagonist, which would be Cardassians, I assume. This goes too far. Well, he did work for the Cardassians, so Odo did. This goes too far and seems to portray the Bajorans as backwards. Oh, that's a good point. Oh, I like the fact that that Photo is portrayed as someone who would color outside the launch. Photo, you mean Odo? I agree. Though it is a bit Scooby-Doo.
If the mob had torches, it would be fully Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo! And they got away with enough of those darn shapeshifters.
The chat helped me to remember that I needed to say that.
Of course. I also enjoyed the formation of the Quark Odo bromance. They were kind of, even in the pilot, they were a little bit at each other. But yeah, they hate each other. They kind of love each other. They're too scared to find other enemies. Beautiful. It's really great. I mean, it really is amazing. Diesel says, see, the whole murder mystery was meh. What I really took away from this episode is how much I really despise Keiko. Whoa, I can't stand that woman. I did not know.
I burst out laughing when I read that comment.
Wow.
Sometimes I don't get a chance to pre-read the comments. I pre-read that one because I love Diesel. And I actually had to mute my mic because I started laughing. I love you, Diesel.
I had no idea there was that much hate for Keiko. Oh, my goodness. Now that Commander Bear says, 4 gold plus Latinum out of 5. Mysteries in Trek are hard to do well. I mean, they can take any cheap left turn they want. Plus, Keiko was always terrible. She triggers so much male anxiety about marriage. I'm sensing not Wesley level, but I'm sensing some hostility to Keiko.
She's Neelix. I'm telling you, she's Neelix. Oh, Miles. Miles.
Miles. God, that hurt. Mrs. Dadman, we have the Dadman clan. I'll do ladies first, of course, from the clan. Grade 2 question marks, says Mrs. Dadman. Apparently, I missed this one. Well, even though the average grade given, I think I will make a point. Well, watch it. You never know. You might like it if you get a chance. I mean, you guys went out and got the set, so you may as well take a look at it. Dadman did see it, though. He said, B, pretty good episode for a murder mystery, which surprised me. The acting was great and continued with developing the characters. Deidre. Wolfie says, rating C. It's fine. Growing a clone and killing it, that's fun. I like what it just basically tells him murdering your own clone is still murder. So Odo's got some enemies, apparently. He said any 500 of them, he says, probably. So, yeah, one could imagine. I love Odo. He's fantastic. Rene Oberson, well, what a great performance. Because if you've seen him in other stuff, and he was great in other stuff, the last thing you expect out of that actor is a tough guy. But he under that makeup and that with that voice, Odo's intimidating. He's a tough guy, and he ain't no Clint Eastwood. Look at Rene Oberson. That's which is proof what a great actor he is. You can put that makeup on him, and he can become anything. He was brilliant. I love how Kira's hair keeps changing for the first 5 episodes or so. Same with Odo's makeup. Not quite final yet. Don't play dumb jot while eating a jumja stick.
Yeah. Well, it's my understanding through confirmed sources that had a lot to do with Nana Visitor wanting to do something that was sportier and sexier so that she didn't have her hair flopping all over the place and she could be like, she could pull a Kirk. And I think she was dead to right on that. I think she totally made the right decision. And Nirat says, no offense to the actress who plays Keiko. It's just obnoxious writing. And I totally agree. I definitely don't like the fact that she fights with her husband in public. I don't like that. Yeah. I don't think it makes me want to really like her. Like this, the complaining, the controlling, the fighting with someone in public. It's just not the kind of thing you want to see. You know what I mean? It's why I don't shop at Walmart.
That's why? Because of Keiko?
It's supposed to make you laugh.
You're afraid you're going to see Keiko there?
No. Just people fighting with their spouses. It was supposed to make you laugh. Forget it.
By the way, no. I know what you're saying. But wait a minute. There's no review from Enigmatic on this one?
Here it is.
Oh, you
got it. He just posted it right now.
Okay, good. I was saying. All right. Chris Berger said Eric K just dropped a tweet saying he misses us all. He'll see us now. Oh, okay. Well, shout out to the great Eric K. We love him.
Yep. We do. I love you, Eric.
JT Kirk said TNG ripped off more authors than clothes at a nudist colony. Okay.
I thought that was cute. I loved it.
Only one episode. That's only one there. So okay. Well, if you want to switch over and do Jill and ED, then I will do Mark's and we'll get on to the next
one. Will. Okay, I'm headed over there now. Okay. Very short. Let's show. Anti-derivative Jill, our communications officer, our illustrious communications officer, my fellow nerd and fellow INTJ. She gives this episode a B-. She says, it was a standard mystery, yet well done, while still focusing on character growth. Jake and Nog getting into trouble, prompting Keiko to start a school was a nice way to merge the story points. And then I'm going to go to one of my favorite bears of all time, Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear. He gives this episode a C, and he says, this episode seemed more like an attempt at world building and developing the show's cast than telling a compelling story. Clones don't grow memories. Ooh, dropping the mic, baby, dropping the mic. Love, love, love you.
Well, let's see. We got our final review of this episode, and we'll move on. Is Mark D with a C says B-. An okay episode. You are getting to know the characters, so it holds your interest while watching Quincy in space. I thought the mob devolved into anger a little bit too quickly. That's Edward Albert Jr.'s fault.
He was goading them.
Yeah. He was all nice. It was kind of weird because he was coming off pretty sensible, and then he started yelling, like moving them. I don't know. He was a politician, I guess. Haven't they lived with Odo for years and met countless other aliens, or is it something about the Skrulls that people don't like? Are there any laws against cloning in the Federation? I don't know. But by the way, they've also know that he used to work for the Cardassians. He didn't see it that way, but a lot of them did. seems like the tech and ethics surrounding it should have been further explored. I hear you, Captain.
Diesel
Captain of Engineering.
Quincy in space.
Quincy on stars. Yes, indeedishness. So I guess we're ready to move on to our third episode.
Let's do it. It's
although it was technically supposed to be the second one.
Yes, it is post prologue.
While you're doing that, I've got to go take some medicine, so I'll be right back. You have the con, number one.
Yeah, you go ahead. Okay, so it's post prologue. It is season 1, episode 3. It is prod code 404. And it cannot be found. I know that's a really bad computer joke, but I thought Jill and some other people in communications and technology would find that funny. I'm going to be quiet now. Yes, prod order reveals Kira's haircut. This was first broadcast on January 11th, 1993. JT Kirk got the joke. I love you so much, JT Kirk. And now let's stay copyright compliant, shall we? I'm going to be reading excerpts from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Companion. It is written by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. And I'm going to be reading extemporaneously. I like to keep this organic, folks. So this is a cold read. I haven't pre-read it. I don't even have a copy of the book. I only have what Mark scanned for me. So this is a bit of an adventure. Don't worry. It'll be more organized once the book gets here. But I'm going to be reading excerpts from page 20, and hopefully there will be brevity within these walls. Let's do it. A quiet cup of Tarkalian tea turns into an exciting encounter for Dr. Bashir when the station's last remaining Cardassian, a tailor named Garak, introduces himself to the physician in the replimat. Recalling that the Cardassian is rumored to be a spy, Bashir rushes to Ops to inform Sisko of the meeting. But Sisko and the others are distracted by the appearance of a small Bajoran craft that is being pursued by a Cardassian war vessel. When the Bajoran requests assistance, O'Brien beams the badly injured pilot to Ops, and Kira recognizes him as Tana Loss, an acquaintance of hers from the Bajoran underground. Just wait 1 second. I'm just going to start JT Kirk's gift to Clobby. Okay. Tana Loss, an acquaintance of hers from the Bajoran underground. The captain of the Cardassian ship, Gul Daynar, demands that Sisko turn over Tana, whom he says is a member of the Bajoran terrorist group Coma. But when Tana claims to have renounced his association with the group, Sisko has no choice but to grant his request for asylum. Not long afterward, Odo alerts Sisko to the fact that the Klingon sisters Lursa and Bator, or Bator, however you want to say it, have arrived at DS9, and that they seem to be awaiting something or someone. Sisko asks Odo to keep an eye on them, while at the same time, Garak hints to Bashir that the doctor should do the same. Disguised as a rat, Odo observes a rat, right? A rat. You guys get that? He's going to rat them out. Anyway, Odo observes the sisters meeting with Tana and demands payment for an undisclosed item. Sisko gives Kira approval to help 2 more Konma members obtain asylum. But when Odo tells Sisko about the conversations between Tana and the Klingons, the commander can't help wondering if there is a connection. In the meantime, the 2 sisters visit Garak to discuss what price the Cardassians might be willing to pay for the return of Tana. And in Tana's quarters, Kira is stunned to discover that her old ally is still loyal to the Konma, and that his purpose in coming to the station was to gain her assistance in a plan to free Bajor. Troubled, Kira turns to Odo for advice. Their conversation makes her realize that she is no longer the person she once was, and that she must choose new loyalties. Garak again goes to Bashir, this time alerting him to the potential of Konma activity on the station. The Cardassian suggests that Bashir may find out more if he visits the tailor shop that evening. And that night, hidden from view, Bashir listens to Garak, getting to the sisters to reveal that they are selling Tana a cylinder of billitrium, a component required for the construction of a powerful bomb. The command crew discusses the situation, and Sisko agrees to let Kira take Tana to meet the Klingon sisters for their agreed-upon exchange. Sisko and O'Brien will follow in a different runabout. The exchange is made, and Cardassian forces, alerted by Garak, appear and threaten to fire upon Kira and Tana. In return, Tana threatens to explode his bomb right there if either the Cardassians or Sisko approach, and they are forced to allow him to proceed. Tana informs Kira that his real target is the wormhole, which he plans to destroy with the bomb, thus diminishing Bajor's importance to both the Federation and the Cardassians, and forcing both groups to leave the planet alone. But Kira is able to delay the release of the weapon long enough so that the bomb is detonated harmlessly in the Gamma Quadrant. Tana is arrested, and Kira is left to ponder if she made the right decision for her people. Although Past Prologue was the first episode Deep Space Nine to be broadcast following the pilot, it was actually shot after A Man Alone, which helps to explain a few of the inconsistencies observant viewers have noticed between the two episodes. Odo's makeup, for example, which would continue to be in metamorphosis over the course of the series, went through a refinement between A Man Alone and Past Prologue, as did Kira's hairstyle, which began to move away from the fluffy do of the pilot to the no-frills, all-business, close-crop style. That was my doing, admits Nana Visitor. I pushed for it. I just didn't feel that Major Kira would style her hair every day. She wouldn't care about her hair. I wanted a hairstyle that looked like she woke up in the morning looking like that. And there's a little bit more, but it's a full page, so I'm going to stop there.
All right.
And I'm going to ask my Captain, are you back?
Yay.
And what did you think of this episode? And that 70s rock fan is here.
Oops. Yeah, Mazurus was here too, it looks like.
And
had to leave, I think.
And you got a gift that I starred from our amazing friend.
Oh, JT Kirk, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Says 503, bad wormhole gateway. Oh, yeah. Well done. Well played. Appreciate that. Thank you, JT. But yes, it was an okay. Again, it was kind of like I was last week, except it's a little bit better because we got Garak. First appearance of Garak. Yep. Yes. It was and there's my boy as a Cardassian, my old boy Von Armstrong as a Cardassian. He would later go back in time and reincarnate into a human as Admiral Forrest. And he's been other Trek aliens too, I think, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The Duras sisters, they're always fun. Some interesting Kira moments, of course, but the Garak and the whole Bashir, and then remember I was again relationships on the show. Not only is O'Brien Bashir a fun one later down the road, the Garak and Bashir one's great. Mm-hmm. And I just love Garak. Who doesn't love Garak? He's one of the greatest characters of any show. For me, anyway. Andrew Robinson is just terrific. To go from being the first Dirty Harry villain to this character. What an actor. What a great actor he is. I love him.
Yep. He was Garak. Very scary. He was very scary in that.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Very terrifying.
Yeah. You mean in the Dirty Harry? Oh, yeah, it was. But that's what I'm saying. That when I first saw him as Garak, I didn't really think about it. Then no way. Is it that guy? No, he's not that Dirty Harry bad guy. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yep. So, yeah, he's just brilliant as Garak. One of the top characters of all time.
Yep.
So, first appearance of Garak. First appearance of something else that I forgot now because I don't make notes. You know that.
Yep.
It's first appearance of something. I don't know. Never mind. It's not important. So anyway, just pretty much like the last one, except with the bonus of getting Garak. I think it's actually more entertaining because this is a more entertaining episode because it's not a murder mystery. It is just it is, whether you like this or not, part of this show, and it's going to be part of this show. You got to get used to it. Are the Bajoran politics stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's politics, and I don't mean real life politics, of course. I mean 24th century politics. Interplanetary politics are a big part of this show. They do it well, though, and it's politics a lot of times from a science fiction perspective, which is interesting, and that is, you know, that's kind of a big deal in this episode. So, all in all, I find it to be pretty entertaining, and again, just good character stuff. More of another building block, more foundational stuff for the characters.
Yep.
So, notes.
Okay, so here are my notes. We meet Garrick. Andrew Robinson takes a total cliche and turns it into a test for the audience. Do you admire, pity, or abhor evil? And so, yeah, we meet him in the Replomat. D-Bud Martin.
D-Bud, buddy.
Hey, sweetheart, how you doing?
Hope you're doing well, man.
Yeah, you've been missed, huh?
Good to see you, bud.
So yeah, I always thought that it was crazy that they took this sort of stock villain, total cliche character, and Andrew Robinson just turned it into something entirely different. And the audience feels yucky because the audience can't figure out if they admire him, if they pity him, like how, if they abhor him, like they're wondering how to feel about this evil. And so I think it's a stroke of genius. And I mean that. I don't think it's hyperbole to say taking a stock cliched character from literature and turning it into something that would make you question what was the nature of evil and how it comes to be, and if you can be friends with evil. I think that is a stroke of genius. So I absolutely love that. And I get to reveal my favorite trivia, which I've been revealing ever since, DS9 came out. Siddig El Fadil is listed in the credits for Julian Bashir's character. I love this person, Siddig El Fadil. I think he is a wonderful person. He at cons, he always says that he thinks it's incredible that a North African, like a Sudanese man, his father is Sudanese and his mother is Malcolm McDowell's older sister, that he got to be a part of this show, and that he felt that the show respected him and gave him a voice, and it made him feel really good. And he has all these positive things to say about DS9. But people always ask me, what is his real name? Because I always say, oh, he has a million names.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so I wrote it down for everyone because I just love this Sudanese name. So this is Siddig El Fadil's real name. Siddig El Tahir El Fadil El Siddig Abdurrah Man Mohammed Ahmed Abdel Karim El Mahdi. And that is his real name. And in DS9, you're going to see it changing in the credits all the time. And it's really because this wonderful person was sort of struggling with what his stage name was going to be. And I just think he's marvelous. And so I just would like to doff my cap to him and thank him for the marvelous things that he has said about Star Trek.
Wow. Good night, D-Bud.
Good night, D-Bud.
Bye, brother.
Good to see you, sweetheart. We love you.
He's a terrific actor.
Yeah, he is. And
hey, Real Nation's here. Look at the PJ.
Hey, we're Real Nation.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
So I've just always found it a very interesting story. Of course, I'm Canadian. We're a very multicultural country, and I love Alexander. I think that he's a wonderful person, and I just love the stuff that he says and how he talks about Star Trek, his time on Star Trek. He is an extremely dignified individual who definitely doesn't act like an entitled jerk about his job and pretend. So doffing my cap to Alexander, while also noticing that he is a marvelous a Sudanese mixed race person who has a beautiful, beautiful name. He is the nephew of Malcolm McDowell. I already said that. On his mom's side, it's his older sister. And then I wrote the Duras sisters in yelling all caps.
Hey, Duras sisters.
And then I wrote Bashir almost delivers on Bones's line, I'm a doctor, but he gets interrupted. So I always love that. He's about to deliver on Bones's line. And this is a spy and terrorism episode. And then I wrote, this is well written, but the terrorism stories don't appeal to me. However, I must say that in 1993, the first time I watched this, let's put this into socio-historical context. So we're living in this post-technological society now where everybody says everything they feel on social media. And a lot of people are fatigued by politics. I want everyone to know, at home, to recognize this mechanism in their life. Because when I first watched this show in 1993, I did not feel this way about the spy terrorism angle. However, I feel that way now because I'm immersed in this kind of stuff through social media, and it is very taxing on the human soul. So I just want to be, I want to show some naked honesty there and say in 1993, this was a chef's kiss for me, socio-historical context. In the present, I do find the spy and terrorism stuff a little fatiguing, and so it's going to affect my grade. But I wanted to be honest about why.
Okay, no problem.
And that's all I have to say.
Okay, well, fair enough. What is your rating of a past prologue?
I give past prologue a B-, but I will be honest, in 1993, I probably would have given it an A-.
Okay.
But it's a B-.
I'll give it a B. Again, it would have been a little bit lower, but Garrick, the first appearance of Garrick, the stuff with Garrick and Dr. Bashir, getting to see, the Duress sisters was amusing. Actually, some of that I wasn't big. That was least interested in the terror stuff. Not again. I love Kira, so that stuff with her and what's his face was interesting. It was okay. It was fine. It's just not exactly thrilling science fiction stuff, but it was all right. But these are building block episodes. This was when you had in this case these people had 20-something episodes to tell. That's a lot of breathing room. Each episode can slowly build up your characterization. They do it far, far superior to the way it was done on TNG. They're very good at it. Because if you're gonna be a show that isn't more anthology like the original series is just one science fiction story after another with the same characters. If you're gonna do a show with arcs, recurring, yet still inside of each individual story has arcs that will move forward through continuity, then you have to take your time with your characters and build them up well. They've done that with these two episodes, so certainly okay. And again, Garrett, what can you say? We get Garrett with this first one, so yeah, I give it I give it a B. And now I will ask our wonderful chat to give us your rating of the episode past prologue and any words you might have for it. Number one and I will switch places.
Yes,
she will go and get your comments ready, and I will give us some Max Redstone entertainment. How about that?
You heard the captain. Welcome, Maximum Redstone comment. And fire it well, because the boss said so.
Words given, folks. Okay. Past prologue by Max Redstone. I saw his ad in the Promenade Mailer, and I was glad he's not the station's jailer. I'll have to buy off the rack to avoid Elam Garak. Now that he says he's a plain and simple tailor. Whoa! Nice job, buddy.
Outstanding. Sorry, sweetheart. I was muted because I'm doing too much clickety click in the background here.
Unfortunately, our buddy Mr. Angel is not here. He had to run earlier. So.
Oh, he's not here? Okay, good.
Then I'll just he may be back, but he said I saw him say something earlier where he had something with his headphones set and all this kind of stuff, and he had to leave. That's the last I saw anyway. If you're still here, Shep, I apologize. You can correct me.
Yeah, and boss,
yes.
Guess who's here? Dave G Sound.
Dave G Sound. Welcome,
I'm looking forward to hearing your comments. Dave G Sound. Everybody say hello to Dave G Sound.
Dave G Sound, welcome, sir. Good to see you. Okie dokie. Well, let's get us started here. First we have Nanat Anaxamanda Bear says 5 GPL. Gold press platinum. Okay. I was always a fan of Garrick and Bashir's stories. I think they usually write Bashir as a little too hapless and naive in these spy versus spy storylines. I guess the Federation is anti-spy, though. They are. Generally. think they are. Wagner says, grade C. An okay episode that gets what? Gets a
-1.
a -1 for the Duras sisters, who add nothing to the story, but a big +2 for the introduction of Garrick, who is a compelling character right from the start.
Gwagnar, Gene Roddenberry would disagree with you because the Duras sisters brought something that he really liked. Chesticles.
Oh yes, they did bring those.
They did, and they were glorious. And Gene insisted, both women, those are real. Those are real.
Good stuff. The first season has too many cameos from TNG, almost like the writers are unsure that people will like the show on its own. Thankfully, the cameo use gets better in future seasons. I mean, they had a few, but I don't know. Was there really that many other than? Was there that many other than like maybe the first one, the pilot that was that totally was understandable with PR, and then you had this one, and you had Q in an episode, but were there other ones? Maybe I'm not thinking of the other ones. Anyway, JT Kirk says a 9 out of 10. The Garrick is one of the best characters on TV. Full stop. Glad to see the relationship between Bashir and Garrick kick off here. The Duras sisters were distracting in a good way. I would concur.
I have to interject, but please, I apologize. I beg your pardon, boss man, but JT Kirk says, Gene and I agree on something. And then he yells, they're not a fake, which I think is absolutely hysterical.
Reference to a Cisco line.
Yeah. Yes, JT Kirk is on fire in the chat tonight. And everyone, guess who's here? Our favorite ballerina, Katie Carr.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my Katie. Absolutely lovely to see you. It is great. I hope you were doing well, my dear. Love you, love you. I hope everything's going great for you.
Yes, sweetheart. How is school? How is your mom? How's dance?
Yes, how are you doing?
We love you very much, and we'd love a little update if you don't mind sharing. We're so happy that you're here, sweet pea.
Absolutely. Diesel says B+. Pretty good episode. Never trust Klingon. I won't say the word because there are ladies present. Just say biatches, I guess. I mean, not that the Klingon woman would care if you called her that. She'd just probably smack you. Yeah. But also, that picture of Garrick makes it look like he's wearing Steve's shirt from Blue's Clues. I don't know who that is, but okay.
I do, and that is
wow.
Diesel, honey, you just won the internet. That's
wow.
Internet.
Oh my God. Pleasant Valley Picker says B+. Interesting episode with Kira dealing with her past. Any episode featuring Garrick is worthwhile. Great character as he is so complex. He's devious, but not really all bad.
Yeah, right? BC?
Yeah, he's been pretty bad. I did work for the Obsidian Order.
Mm-hmm.
Bashir is a great character too. I agree. Dear Ass Sisters, booby bonus. Well, Odo being apologize to the ladies again because we want to be gentlemen here. Well, Odo being a metamorph could change his appearance constantly, so no worries about makeup. Anyway, a good episode overall. Thank you, Pleasant. Shooter says, C. Not the most exciting episode. Another early episode that helps establish the political environment. Garrick is always fun to watch. The most important part is developing Kira's character. Yes, and it does that well, I agree. Hang on a second. I'm gonna get your other one here. I think you got another one. Who was it? Oh, I already forgot who that was. Let's see another one. Hang on. Oh, Shooter. I'm sorry. That was me. I'm blind. Sorry. Not much else to say other than the Jira sisters and Klingon. Everyone's obsessed with bubs tonight.
Chesticles.
Fine. Wolfie says, Rating B+, plain simple Garrick. Outstanding dialogue between Elam and Bashir. Absolutely. Plain and simple Garrick, I love it. Michael Beacom says B. Feels like a leftover TNG script, but great character moments. DS9 becomes Casablanca to the point where I expect to see Quark's Cafe Faringanar on the sign introduction of Quark and further insight in how the characters interact, make it enjoyable to watch. You can imagine Picard and crew dealing with the situation as well as Cisco and company did. A good pernt. And yes, it is very much. It is so Casablanca in space. And that's a compliment to the show. Hungry Boy says, hungry for Kira and Odo Detective series says, A-. I'm a theater loving man slut, so this app rocked my world then and now.
Love you, Hungry Boy.
You're the man, Hungry Boy. Dad Man Walking says, this just hit me, but is Keiko this series Counselor Campbell? I mean Troy? No, because she's not on it enough. She's
Neelix. She's Neelix.
Not even Neelix, because she's not a regular. If you were a regular, I guess, but she's there once in a while to make O'Brien's life hell. Just kidding. No.
Miles. Miles.
You really hate Keiko, man.
Oh, she's so annoying. And watching somebody like chastise their spouse in public, I don't care what gender they are, I don't care who they are. When you start admonishing your spouse in public to the point where people are watching you, hollering at him and flailing your arms around, I don't care if you're a man, woman, or child, you need a slap. Stop that. It's mean. It's incredibly mean. It makes people feel really uncomfortable. The person you're doing it to, because it's a form of public bullying, and the people who have to watch it. So whenever she does that, jeez.
Papa Delta Yankee says a solid 7 for introducing Garrick. Well, that's good because a good rating for that because it deserves it. Our wonderful Katie Carr says, my review 8 out of 7. The introduction of Garrick was wonderful, and I thought he was a great levity alien to bring change into the DS9 crew. And she also says, my review part 2. I thought the extra storyline with Lursa and Betor was a great asset to the episode because it branched more TNG with DS9. As a side note, I thought the Duras sisters deserved more. Yeah, it wasn't too long after that they were going to be smoldering ashes. Hey, Katie?
Boss man, Katie's going all the way to 5 parts. So
That's
just
fine.
anticipate that. And 1 update on her school and dance. So you probably have 6 comments for her, maybe 7.
No problem. We're just glad to see her here. My review part 3, Akira Odo's scenes were good and branches their relationship and backstory to give camaraderie and trust between the two. It would eventually be a make and break as part of their life. Indeed. Hang on a second, Katie. Got to get to the other one.
Right? Katie agrees with me. I love you, Katie.
Indeed.
Yeah, baby. It's annoying, isn't it? Oh, it's so annoying.
The next one I'm seeing, that was what was that? Did she have more reviews? That's not a review.
Yeah, she has more reviews, but we asked her how she was doing. So this is her update.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
I'm doing well, thank you. My mother is well, and we are actually planning on going to Star Trek convention next month. Oh, wow. Enjoying my month off before school starts up. Fantastic. That's right. They got the big con coming up.
Hear.
Let's see what else we got from Katie.
Some good stuff. Oh, Brandon, the anime guy, just walked
Brandon.
through the door, boss.
Good to see you, buddy. So here we go. Katie says the episode was half TNG and half DS9. It showed the potential of DS9 while staying true to the TNG spirit of good characters mixed with drama. And I think past prologue set the stage for the potential of DS9 and Garrick being an important facet to the series. Thank you so much, Katie.
Honey, you're
well
not out
said.
of the loop. Claudia and I absolutely love you. Your form and your content and everything you're doing, honey. You're not out of the loop at all. Just
Uh-uh.
welcome home. We love you, and it's good to have you here. It's good to hear things are going well for you,
Oh,
and we love
yes.
your reviews.
Oh, no, no, you did fantastic. Well said, as always.
A gorgeous young ballerina who is in
Right.
university is hanging around with a bunch of old fogies. We love you, honey.
Yep. I wish I was going to that con,
Yes.
but I hope you have a wonderful time at it. Cosmic Coconuts, Raquel says.
That was a good one.
Okay. Max Redstone says, OMG, wasn't someone just talking about the violent Bajoran trope? Get your pitchforks and torches, whatever. It's Garrett. Yes, my favorite Star Trek character ever. Wow. Well, he's a great character. If ever I was forced had Espy the what is that word? Lugubriousness?
Yes.
Lugubriousness?
Mm-hmm.
Lugubriousness. I'm gonna. All right.
Lugubriousness.
Max, your agonizer, please. Of the Jura sisters in silk lingerie, I would want Garrett to person who makes it happen. To be, I think it means to be the person who makes it happen. Extra parts for Garrick and Bashir. Thank you so much, Maximum Great Redstone.
Redstone.
Mrs. Dadman says, B-. I enjoyed this episode. Enjoy Garrick and the sisters, and the fact that they are real are impressive. They are impressive. I like that Kira realized that she has changed. Yes, there was some good character Kira development there. And now, number one, I will turn it over to you for a bit. We have our wonderful friend. We'll not to do the super chat really quickly since Narat put that up there for a $5 super chat. Clobby, if you and Raquel work a bit on your Keiko and O'Brien impersonations, it would be epic. There's a lot of Keiko and O'Brien episodes to go. There are. So you're right. Thank you, Narat. Good advice. I appreciate that.
Yes.
And so down number one, we've got Jill and we've got our great friend ED. If you want to jump over there.
Okay, some folks in the chat are wondering what lugubrious means. Just so you know, it just means it's just a fancy way of saying gloomy. Actually, the accumulative connotation for that word, just so you know, is like that you're overly gloomy or overly mournful. Okay, so that's what that means.
Thank you, PJ. You're too kind for the $2 super chat. Nice stream, Clubby. Remember to super chat.
Thank you, Orville Nation.
Remember to go to Orville Nation's channel and super chat him right back at him. So thank you, PJ. Appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. Everyone, of course, again, that's a great channel. If you're an Orville fan and you haven't been over there yet, you got to go to his great channel.
Get your bums over there and support PJ.
Indeed. And I know you're just loving that news today from Comic-Con about the Orville. I know you are. I'm pretty sure you probably are loving it. That is, PJ. But anyway, continue.
Okay, let's do this. Anti-Derivative Jill, our communications officer, fellow nerd, fellow INTJ, possibly a spy. No, I'm kidding. She's got a 3-parter. She gives this episode an A-. She says Kira's loyalties are tested. She passes. And even if she still doesn't trust the Federation by the end, she at least knows she's grown past her former life. Also, I love Garrick. A clear delineation between Sisko's command and Odo's sense of justice collide in a very cooperative way when Odo wants to turn over the Duras sisters for Klingon crimes, but Sisko doesn't. Not being Starfleet, it was believable that Kira would go over Sisko's head to have the Bajoran Senate, but she learns the importance of the chain of command lest she have her head on a platter. Yeah, when he pulled the John the Baptist line, it was like, whoops, you better watch yourself there. Excellent review, Jill. Love you. Now let's move on to Enigmatic Drop Bear. The erudite bear. What's he got to say? It's a 4-parter, folks. He's given this episode a B. He said, this episode seems somewhat detached and unfocused, although it added some depth to the Bajor story. It got a little bogged down in exposition and nostalgia baiting. It's as if the writers were endeavoring to expedite audience familiarity with Bajoran history and politics, whilst telling a self-contained story, straddling episodic and serial formats. God, I love you, Edie.
You rock, Edie.
Where this episode did succeed, though, was in showing that Bajor was not a monoculture, a trait that plagued TNG. Oh my goodness, didn't it? It's like you have a world and they're like, 50 billion people on it. There's only one government and one president. You're like, what?
Yeah, good point.
Right? Like, I love that Edie brings this up. Bajor is comprised of a complicated and dissonant set of stakeholders. Ooh, you got your comms on tonight, do you? You got your comms on?
But let's face it, most science fiction writers are globalists, so that's what's like wishful thinking. But go ahead.
Yeah, 4 out of 4. It also introduced Garrick, one of the best characters, ever. Simply, the establishment of Keiko's school was the establishment of Keiko's school was a worthwhile initiative. Thank you, Edie. You dropped the mic.
No, Edie. Thank you.
Love you, love you, love you.
Let's see here. What else we got? Okay. Brandon, the anime guy, says grade B+, just plain simple Garrick. What more needs to be said? These first 3 episodes of DS9 are great. Plus, who could say no to more Garrick? I'm glad they didn't do more Dura sisters. Good riddance. Yeah, they get the kablooey very soon, obviously. But thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you. Yes, what I apparently, and we got some more from Katie that we'll take care of in a second. Apparently, from what I saw. What I was told is Orville is moving. They said they're moving it to Disney Plus, which implies to me there's going to be more, right? If obviously it's going to continue, but it's going to go to Disney Plus. So there was someone he was asking if it had been renewed, and I think it has. So that's what I was told from a friend of mine today that he saw coming out of San Diego. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, PJ, correct that. But I was told by a friend who saw that. Katie Carr said, I know it's late in the chat. But my review, that's okay. We'll take your review of this just for old time's sake, Katie. Even though it's going back to the emissary really quickly. We'll do it fast, though, okay? My review for DS9, emissary setting the stage. Cisco, a.k.a. Hawk from Spencer for Hire, brought the great change to the Star Trek format as a working father. Cisco needed a purpose to express his grief through a positive manner. That manner would be found in A New Frontier. He brought the optimism of Kirk matched with the gentleman quality of Picard. The introduction of this beautiful Jadzia Dax, of the beautiful Jadzia Dax, was great. Prior to Beverly and some women in the TOS, it was hard to find a scientist female in TV. That same year, Dana Scully from X-Files set the tone. Jadzia was a great asset to the series, and in my humble opinion, she was the heart of the show. She was the counselor, the friend shoulder to cry on, and the person who in herself battled the past. I don't have her 5th one yet. Did you get her 5th one?
Just posted, just started. It could be there now, boss.
There we go. And Bashir, Kira, Odo, Quark, and the others would eventually grow a great deal. Their intro was good, and it's interesting to see how they changed over the years. Great episode, 8 out of 10. And okay, well, thank you so much. It's just great to have you there. So for old time's sake, good to see you, Katie. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. Well said, Katie. Klingon lingerie sounds like a name for a bad hair.
I thought that was a good comment. That's a pretty funny comment.
Well done, Pleasant. Yes. Mark D with AC, the chief engineer, says B-. A good episode, but not great. It's more political than sci-fi. I kept thinking about the similarities to Ensign Ro and Tana worldviews and how Kira is able to evolve. Yes. Kira Tana, the old ways don't work anymore. Everything is different now. I had to do this. One day you'll understand. A good pernt. And Lursa and Bedor, by the way, they're real and they're spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
They are that. Are we ready to move on to our final episode of the evening?
We are.
All right, everybody. We're moving on to our final of the evening, our final episode. And that is Babel.
Babel. Just remember, it's from Babylon. It's a biblical story, so it's okay if you pronounce it both ways.
But
it's
also,
all right.
It made me think of the Babel fish from Hitchhiker's Side of the Galaxy. But I would, with a geek like me, that's what you figures out where my geek brain, my geek so-called brain would go.
Yes.
Okay. Babel,
all right.
Go for it.
Here we are on Babel or Babel. That whole idea of Nimrod and the Bible, the whole idea of trying to build a way to get to heaven. And then, of course, God striking everyone with the affliction of not being able to understand one another, so they would stop being cooperative in their sin. So that's, where this name comes from. This is season 1. This is episode 4. This is production code 405. And we all watched this for the very first time. Well, most of us, old fogies anyway, on January 25th, 1993. Let's say copyright compliant, shall we? I'm going to be reading excerpts from the book Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Companion. This is a very rare and expensive book. And I'm excited to be reading from it. I'm going to be reading from page 23, and we're going to try and keep it brief. Plagued by a recent rash of mechanical breakdowns, O'Brien finds himself inundated with maintenance requests from every quarter, including Commander Sisko, who wants the station's replicators to provide palatable coffee. O'Brien wearily attends to the replicator and, to his surprise, manages to coax it into producing a perfect cup of coffee. In the process, however, the chief unknowingly triggers a long dormant device in the station's food replicator circuitry. Not long after, Kira is startled when O'Brien, who appears sweaty and pale, begins to speak gibberish. Bashir's examination of the chief is puzzling. He shows no signs of physiological damage, but appears to be suffering from an unusual form of aphasia. When Dax is struck with the same malady, Bashir determines that both of his patients have contracted a virus that affects their neurosynaptic pathways. On the heels of that discovery, 2 more crew members become aphasic, and Sisko places the station under emergency quarantine. Odo's subsequent investigation of some suspicious activities on Quark's part lead to the discovery that the Ferengi had inadvertently been spreading the virus by illegally accessing station crew food replicators to serve his customers. But when Bashir discovers that the virus is mutated into an airborne strain, it becomes clear that they will soon be dealing with an epidemic, and that no one on the station is safe. As the virus continues to spread, affecting Sisko's son Jake, Kira finds the device that triggered the outbreak. Because it is based on Cardassian technology, they assume at first that the planned epidemic is an act of Cardassian sabotage. But Bashir's analysis of the virus's genetic structure proves it was actually a part of the Bajoran plan to destroy the Cardassians, who once controlled the space station. With the virus becoming more deadly by the hour, their only hope is to find the Bajoran who created the virus, and hope that he also created an antidote. So just about said anecdote instead of antidote. Kira discovers that Dekon Elig, the inventor of the virus, is long dead. However, Cermak Ran, who once served as Elig's medical assistant, is not. On a desperate hunch, Kira departs for Bajor and beams the unwilling Bajoran aboard her runabout, in the process exposing him to the virus. Reluctantly, Cermak agrees to return to DS9 and help discover the antidote. Back on the station, a panicky alien captain attempts to break quarantine by leaving the station without permission. His attempts to pull away from the station with the mooring clamps still attached doom his ship to and endanger the docking ring. But with Cisco incapacitated by the virus, Odo is forced to rely on Quark to help save the captain and release the ship from the clamps just before the vessel explodes. In the DS9 infirmary, Cermak follows up on Bashir's research and discovers the antidote, allowing life on the station to return to normal and the coffee to revert to its previous non-toxic but impotable state. And I'm going to stop there on page 23. There's plenty more, plenty more, but I think that about covers it. Boss? Yes, exactly. After you talk for 3 hours straight and you're reading off of a digital PDF, you could ask Clobby. Your mouth, it's like it's suddenly filled with marbles.
You have Babel. We have aphasia just like they have in Babel, pretty much.
Yes.
Window, Blackstone, everybody, Con, Soup, Banana. Oh, sorry. What was I saying? Okay. Yes, it's the old like that. Well, it's like Mark said, it's a Star Trek law that they have to have the plague episode.
Yep. And
always early on, of course. But it was an interesting idea. It's an okay episode. I don't dislike it or anything. It was sort of there. It was some interesting stuff with the characters again. These characters are so good, even in an episode that's just sort of certainly not a terrible idea, but like I've never been the biggest fan of the plague episode trope type deal personally. But these characters are still terrific. They got some good character interaction moments or stuff like that. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's just all right. I mean, it's just an okay. It has some good, character stuff in it. Monkey, car, stone, window, TV, whale, purpose, porpoise. Oh, stop! I'm sorry. This episode confuses me.
M&Ms.
Oh, that's enough. See, I've caught a very similar. I have a very similar virus now. It's just gonna say M&Ms.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. Cherry Coke. I want cherry Coke. I had meatloaf.
I love cherry Coke.
I don't want
meatloaf.
No,
mashed potatoes.
I had bad meatloaf left.
Gravy.
Meatloaf.
Restaurant.
Tore me up. Cheeseburger, cheap. All right, anyway. All right, so folks, I will ask my number one now to give her notes, and we'll get moving here.
Okay. I love this Irishman. I am genetically Irish, and I'm actually Indigenous Irish, so like ethnic Irish from Southern Ireland. So I love Miles O'Brien. I love this Irishman. I love the concept of this virus and its symptoms. This is fun science fiction that is slightly terrifying at first. It behaves like dementia. And it's quite scary because aphasia is real. So this isn't scientific gobbledygook. If you've ever had people in your family with advanced dementia, and many of you have, it affects the population quite. It's very popular to have one form of dementia or another as we age, and that's an unfortunate reality. But you have probably seen aphasia in real life. So very scary and very touching, but it's doing what science fiction should do, which is expose a scientific concept, teach you a word or a scientific concept that you're going to research, that you're going to learn about, that you're going to be exposed to and say, okay, I know what this aphasia thing is. And so I really like that. This is a science fiction story and I love it. Mm-hmm. I love this kind of stuff. I put in my notes here. It introduces and explores science in fiction. And it's just that simple. And it's lovely that they include fever. So aphasia can happen if you've had a terrible fever, but obviously it's also very closely associated with dementia. So I think it's wonderful to tackle this and to teach laypersons about what can happen in your brain and to give them the vocabulary to describe it. And I've had, of course, I've been touched by dementia in my friends and family. So it's quite a scary thing, especially when it happens in very young people. And then I wrote in yelling all caps, quarantine, Cardassians. And then, of course, Quark is hysterical. And then and then at the end, right before my rating, I put the closing scene where O'Brien gets yelled at by Cisco is dumb and cheesy, because
that was dumb.
Yeah, and they put it in there as a comedic moment, but it really makes unnecessarily, it makes Cisco look ungrateful. And
stupid.
Yeah, Miles works pretty hard. So overall, I actually think that this is a very high quality episode. This is what I like in science fiction: introduce a science concept, teach it to people, show how it impacts people in real life. I think it is rendered to good effect here, and the science is all right. So loving this. I think it's good stuff. It's not perfect, but it's good stuff.
No, it is. It is. There you go. Well, okay, so I will ask you, for your ranking of Babel. What do you give it?
I think it's fantastic to teach the public about aphasia and to tackle this dementia issue, this fever issue, this brain issue, and teach people. I think it's wonderful. This is what science fiction is for, folks. It's not for hugging and crying in corridors. It's an A- for me.
Nice. Well, I got it at a solid B. It's good stuff. It's a good show. The bar, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be reserving my A's for plenty of episodes, but this a B means I really liked it, and I did. And again, because it's just, these characters can elevate anything, and I do love what you said about the episode of being pure science fiction and doing, it was the plague episode, but they did it well.
Yeah, so, instead of making it like some plague that they could instantly cure or whatever, right. I really liked the fact that they handled it like it was aphasia and taught people that it was aphasia. And when people were standing around the water cooler at work in 1993, someone would have turned around and said, yeah, it was about aphasia. My grandma had aphasia, or my mom had aphasia, or when I was young, I caught a terrible fever. I had aphasia. I never thought I would be able to speak a proper sentence again. So, and that's what science fiction is supposed to do. It's supposed to do that, and so it's doing that, and I love it when it does that.
There you go. All right, folks. Number one, we'll take point to get your reviews. Please put any ratings and any words you may have about the episode Babel, and I will get us some Max Redstone entertainment. How about that?
That sounds good, boss, but may I please interrupt first? Sure. Because I have to say goodnight to Midnight's Oblivion. Midnight's Oblivion has to leave for work. Okay. Otherwise, he would like to stay, but he says, I got to get to work. Wish I could stay. Y'all have a fun one. Midnight's Oblivion, thank you for being here tonight, for keeping us company. Hope you had a good time, and I hope we see you again. Good night.
Absolutely. Have a great time. And thank you for being here. Thank you so much, Midnight. Let me see here. Okay, everyone. Babel by the great Maximum Redstone. Here we go. Excuse me. A story that would tongue. Okay, here we go. A story that would tongue tie a reader. Danger in a booby-trapped linguistic bleeder. A virus. All that would be kill. Except that for our constable. Get some help from Quark, our community leader. I didn't do that very well, so I needed a run through, I guess, because it's kind of a twister there. But I'm going to try it. I'm doing.
It's hard to cold read this type of cipher, boss. Don't worry about it. Give it another go.
It's my aphasia. Here we go. But Max is worth another shot because he deserves better than to have me trash his work. Inadvertently, though it is. Okay, a story that would tongue-tie a reader. Danger in a booby-trapped linguistic bleeder. Let me move my screen closer to my stupid face. There we go. A story that would tongue-tie a reader. Danger in a booby-trapped linguistic bleeder. A virus all that would be kill, except for our constable. Get some help. I got some help from Quark, our community leader. I am sorry I still screwed it up. I probably did catch it from this episode. It was contagious, not only in the fictional world of Deep Space Nine, but apparently to the readers and watchers of the episode. Not readers. See? I definitely have it. This episode is contagious. Brr. Sorry about that. Okay, now let me start reading. Midnight Oblivion says B. There's nothing below a B. I don't know if I don't know about that for me, Midnight. But so you're saying that you'll never have anything below a B for all 7 years of the series? That's pretty impressive.
That shows some deep love. And you know what? I think it's pretty cocky and pretty awesome to draw the line in the sand there and just say, I love this so much that I will never score it below this. I think that's totally cool.
I gave Man Alone a C, but but still, I can't say the same thing, but hey, that's all. No problem there. We appreciate all opinions there. We appreciate you, Midnight.
Die Hard.
Dave G Sound says B. Wind up doors in the forest proper. Trans, a great premise of dysphasic communication, but used or implied in other Trek, Voyager, Think Tank ending, or TNG Dharma. Scary premise to contemplate.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. This.
Yeah.
Shooter says B. I like this one despite some issues. Taught me what aphasia is. Me too. That was a long time ago. But yeah. If an extreme version, if we don't, I don't even hear it. I never even hear anything about aphasia that often. But I guess just because I don't. But I mean, when you watch this episode, and go, oh wow, that's weird. Again, Quark steals the show. Don't underestimate the Ferengi immune system.
Shooter.
Truishness.
That's a pretty good comment.
Brandon, the anime guy. Good to see you here, buddy. He says, grade C+. This is a TNG type of episode and was not very good.
Okay.
Not as bad as the end of TNG, but not up to the level of future DS9 episodes. This is one I typically skip. Just don't need it. Got you covered.
I respect that.
I hears you, sir. J.T. Kirk says, upper pylon B+.
Oh.
Shaka and ketchup in the tree. Replicators swim on cheese oceans. Cheese oceans. This episode gives us the feel of a Trek episode without warp nacelles. Yep. Always worth the rewatch. Okay. Yeah. So,
that's actually a really good comment because the disease comes to them and it's in the form of sabotage and it's through the replicator. And considering that all the food has to be replicated, it's like they've tainted the grain. Do you know what I mean? And that's a very good point, JT Kirk. And I love it because you're saying out loud what I think of when I watch this episode. So love you.
Michael Beacom says B+. Not perfect, but a nice attempt at sci-fi. Since it was a weapon and not just a natural virus, I can let it infecting everyone slide. A TNG Deus Machina, resolution, but stakes felt real. Thank you, sir. Mm-hmm. And greedishness. Wagner says, grade C, not a fan of the last minute illness cure stories. The twist that it was Bajoran wasn't enough to elevate this cliched plot line. O'Brien was handled well this episode, so not a complete loss. I think he's always great. I think O'Brien's always great.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Too.
Max Rodstrom says A-. Corn car, space star, shuttle, Ractagino, bat cord, watch, pen stick, wet magnet, nose light stream, glass blue, leather fire top, bead red. Well, I might add to that if you wouldn't mind for a second.
What?
I would add to that mouse, bat, follicle, goose creature, abazan, spong, wap, caplet, loose liver, vendetta, and praying. What? It's a stupid Monty Python thing.
You guys are hysterical. I love you and Max. You guys are so funny.
Here we go. I bet someone has probably heard that. We'll know what that's from.
Yeah. You're welcome, BC.
Pleasant Valley Picker says, A. My favorite of the first 4 episodes, aphasia being a storyline subject, is great. It's a very serious condition, and to put it in an episode was educational.
Yep.
When I was at Okanagan, did I say it? Okanagan, sorry.
It's okay.
College, taking my first 2 years of fine arts was, as far as one of my friends had her husband suffering from it. His was caused by a virus.
Oh my.
Wow. It was pretty much as portrayed in the episode. He would try to communicate, but his words were all mixed up. It was heartbreaking. Wow, I bet it was.
I remember watching someone who I love having the test for it, and they were like, "Do you know where you are? And can you name where you are? What is the country you're from?" And I won't say what the person said, but it was very scary. It was very scary to watch the aphasia test. It's terrifying.
I could get some of his general meaning, but it was difficult. So having actual experience with it in real life made the episode very enjoyable and meaningful for me. I hear you. Absolutely. That's where you go. Hungry Boy says B-. The concept, I think he means B-. The concept was great, but the execution felt walked through. A cousin had temporary aphasia from being hit by a van decades ago. Felt like a retread of the Satan bug from 1965. My apologies.
Oh,
what's
the Satan bug? Hold on, I have to write that down.
It's a movie.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever
you guys tell me to watch, I watch. The Satan.
I'm pretty sure it's a movie. But what are you apologizing for? Hungry Boy, you crazy? No apologizing.
Hungry Boy, honey, what was that date?
65. Wolfie says, rating B. Food replicators are no joke. I guess these Cardassian air purifiers ain't so great. I love the move by Kira to beam up the guy responsible for infecting. Yeah, Kira was great in this one. She was off the hook there. The Anaximanda Bear says 3 gold plus platinum. 3. I thought it was an okay episode, not bad. Yeah. Thank you much. Mrs. Dadman says, A. Enjoyed episode. It dealt with a real disease that was artificially created. I did not think a solution was trite, i.e., just use transporter. Yeah. I must ask, though, was O'Brien the only engineer on board? Yeah, he's the chief. They have other who work for him, but he's the main one. He does have something of a staff, some of Bajora and some Starfleet.
But I like that Mrs. Dadman is troubled by how much he's run ragged like I am. I like that because it shows that Mrs. Dadman and I are invested in the character. We care about the character. Why does he work so much? I think most of the time when we care about our friends, we say that sort of thing. You know, like, why do you work so much?
And he missed the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Brandon, the anime guy, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, buddy. He says, what is the deal with O'Brien and his rank? In TNG, he was a lieutenant. But before he left was an ensign, and in DS9 is an enlisted chief, not an officer. Yeah, they've been all over the place on both shows. That you got me, brother. Our friend Katie Carr says, I think this episode had a good premise, but gets lost in the silliness of common first season storylines. Quark saving the day would become a counterpoint of him. He was a hero and didn't know it. There you go. And number 1, if you would like to take point, we have Jill and ED up there, and I will switch with you.
Right. Hello, you gorgeous nerd, fellow INTJ. She's got a 2-parter here. She's giving this episode a B. She says, even with the maintenance crews, O'Brien is terribly overworked. Yes, I love that you said that. DS9 needs to order him a larger crew so he can focus on leading instead of having to deal with every minutia.
Indeed.
Kira made a brilliant move kidnapping the doctor's assistant to find the cure. A Starfleet officer couldn't have done something like that. She's totally right.
Good night, Michael Beacom. And by the way, that's
Michael Beacom's leaving?
Yeah, have a good one, buddy. Thank you. You and Cassandra have a wonderful rest of your weekend, my friend. And you know something, 70s? I forgot all about that. Jimmy Doohan was in the Satan bug.
Beacom's. And I just love you guys. I think you guys are the sweetest couple ever, and you're so bright and intelligent. I love your conversation. I love your company, and thank you so much for your generous donation to the show. I just love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, your friendship, just all around terrific people. Good night, Beacums.
Good night.
Okay, Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear. It's got a 3-parter here. He's giving this episode a C+. He says a space station on the fringe of the Federation is a great setting for a story about communication challenges. However, this is no Darmok. And Gilad at Tanagra. 2 of 3, it's difficult to believe that the Bajoran Underground would bother engineering an aphasic virus as a terrorist device. It seems insufficiently debilitating against their Cardassian captors.
That's actually an interesting point. It's like, why wouldn't you just try something that just kills their asses
Just
off the bat?
kill them. Perhaps the episodes, because if somebody was aphasic, they could still perform their duties. They just wouldn't be able to communicate with one another. So it is a good point, Edie.
They do die, but it's just
Well, they die after the extensive fever. Perhaps the episode's director realized this after filming the first 2/3, explaining why the 12 hours until death twist was introduced towards the end of the story. It's like Enigmatic Drop Bear and I can read each other's thoughts. I love you, Edie. That was terrific. Thank you so much, my friend.
Indeedness. We have no other reviews, but we're still waiting on some. I'm sure there's still a couple that are on the way. I think. I'm sure. We have not seen Mark yet, but he's having some computer issues or something. I didn't know. There he is.
Until then,
Is that my vamping music?
Oh, there's one from
there
Mark.
it is, yeah. By the way, did you know there are lyrics to that Bonanza theme?
What?
There are. I'm not, and they even sang it in that one. There was an episode where, for some strange reason, they had time to fill. It was left over, so they had the 3 stars of the show. I don't know if it was when Parnell Roberts was there, so I think it was 3 of them. Sing it on horses. They sang in a musical number, singing the lyrics to the TV.
Oh, wow!
I kid you not. A
That
Bonanza,
reminds
little
me of
Bonanza
the 3
trivia.
Amigos when the horses start singing "Blue Shadows on the Trail" and they're
yeah.
bum, 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 which is
Exactly.
the funniest moment in all of film history. I might add. I will die on that hill. Also, I must interrupt to say that Mrs. Dadman has announced that the Dadman clan are well into the morning now. So they're going to retire for the evening. They had, they have to go. Dadman clan and offspring of the Dadman clan, I just absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your company, for all of your great comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. And for our last...
Oh, and your super chats.
Huh?
And the super chats.
Well, thank you so much for the... Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Dadman. The great Dadman clan. Well, both of you and Mrs. Dadman, appreciate you so much. After Mumbo, we got one more. C for Papa Delta Yankee. That's 4 out of 7. He said it's weak and boring, but memorable for its silly concept and doesn't hit cringe factor 9 like Naked Time. Well, Naked Time to me is one of the greatest episodes of Star Trek ever. Unless you mean Naked Now.
I think he means the Naked Now.
Yeah,
Naked Time.
Naked Time is one of my... Naked Time is one of my... And he might be Naked Now. But either way, I mean, if he doesn't like Naked Now, that's fine. I'm just saying you might mean Naked Now. You might not. I don't know. We don't know each other. But thank you so much, Papa Delta Yankee. Mark D with a C, our chief engineer for our final review of the evening. B, interesting take on the standard Star Trek Plague episodes, and at least they didn't use the transporter for a cure. O'Brien had a tough job in this one.
Yep.
He did indeed. Fix the replicators, Chief. My console's offline, Chief. I should have transferred to a cargo drone. No people, no complaints. Yeah. Yeah. The world wouldn't. The world wouldn't work or have great coffee without engineers. That is true. Yeah.
We love our engineers, although they love to change things. And also, I love that Mazeris did the best line to me. Good night, Ned.
Yes, indeedishness.
I mean, is there anything better than the Three Amigos other than Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
I haven't seen the Three
When
Amigos in a long
Rupert,
time,
why
but it's
is there
great.
a cork on the floor to prevent him from hurting himself? This is like, these are two of the funniest movies ever created by people. I can't even believe those two movies are real. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, The Three Amigos, two of the funniest movies ever made by people.
You got to do a video. I don't know. Well, I love Naked Time. It's one of the greatest episodes of the original series that ever. I mean, all the way down the line, great performances by the characters. It was very early on. It fleshed the characters out. So much so that the TNG weenies went ahead and remade it for for their second episode, which didn't work so well. But the Naked Time to me is easily in my top 25 for sure. It's definitely in my top 25, way up top of my Star Trek the original series episodes. So
how could anyone think Naked Time?
there he goes.
It's like
he says naked now. I meant naked now. Oh yeah, I'm with you.
All right. Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah. That's cool.
Like, what is he saying?
See, I told you, Papa, it's aphasia that came from that episode, and it hit all of us.
You shot the invisible swordsman.
Yeah, look what it did to Max. He couldn't even make a whole sentence. So yeah, I mean, well, this is so yeah. So yeah, Naked Now, not so much. Naked Time, oh man, I love it. Anyway, so we did it. Look at that. We did it. We reviewed the first 4. We haven't gotten over the hump, so to speak.
Excuse me.
Man, we've gotten.
May I go to the bathroom?
Go ahead.
No, that's for Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh, that. Are you recording?
Thank you.
Sure. I will say sure. Yeah. And we have our great friend. Oklahoma. I love that movie.
My brain is fried. Which was the TNG episode, Naked Now or Naked Time? And which was TOS, right?
I don't know. But welcome.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, no, great show tonight. Great time. Yep.
Appreciate you dropping in.
Hailed everyone in the chat. Yep, having a great time out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
so
thank you for PDFing me the
yeah.
Yep. Sorry the quality wasn't great. When I get into work, I can do a better scan, but
it was a little bit blurry, but that's what happens when you cold read. I do my best. I have a lot of experience doing it, so I do my best.
Plus there were so many pages. I was like, oh, at least the beginning it won't be too.
Katie,
that first episode of like 12 pages.
Katie, thank you for being here tonight. It was wonderful to see you. It's getting late, she says. Denise, so great to chat with everyone. Great to see you. Please do not be a stranger. Pop in whenever you can, even though you're probably busy. And hey, I hope we see you before you go to the con, to the Trek Con. But if we don't, have a wonderful time at that thing. And
Katie, if you're going to do that, if you're comfortable sharing that with us, I think it would be lovely. For we could facilitate that, and maybe we could do like a little small segment and just show some of your pictures. Maybe we could do that on the Clubhouse. I just want you to know that if you would like to take some pictures of other people, it doesn't have to be you, honey, but of other people at the con, and you wanted to meet us on the Clubhouse, maybe we could show people some of the pictures from the Star Trek convention. And please tell your mom that we say hello, and keep your nose to the grindstone. Work really hard at school. Don't forget to exercise. I don't have to tell you that you're a ballerina, but I am a dance mom, so I have to nag. And I'm incredibly proud of you. And I just think the world of you, sweetheart. Keep working hard, and you're the best.
Absolutely, Katie. Love you, and great to see you. And Chasing 80s Toys, thank you for those kind words. I'm glad you're here, and I hope you will stop in again. Thank you so much. And we're going to address what Jill asked. It's a good question, Jill. This is do we want to go in the same order as the book, or the order? I don't have the book, but we can get the order out of there. So, is that the same as
the book?
Yeah, is that the same as I mean,
let me go grab.
I don't think that the prod order is affected deeply into the show as much as as much as other iterations of Star Trek. And I do have to say too, that there will be no continuity, folks. They're different streaming services either bust up Emissary or they don't.
Well,
yeah, I think that was the only change was that this week, if I'm if memory serves.
I don't think there are any more switcheroonies, Mark.
Yeah,
but the
I think
thing
it's all in
is
order,
that
yeah.
when people see that it's episode 1, then episode 2, then episode 3, 4, people just need to realize on a go forward basis that depending upon what streaming service, and we can't anticipate that for you.
Yeah,
but
well, it's only Paramount Plus now, I think,
well,
right?
not in Canada and in the rest of the world. So that's just the United States.
Oh,
So
okay,
if
yeah.
you're in Canada or outside of the USA and you're watching this on Netflix and it's been busted up, it is supposed to be 1, but it could be busted up. Thing is that we actually can't plan for that for you. You just need to be made aware that Emissary is 1 and 2 through Netflix, depending upon the region of Netflix that you're using. And it's also different on Paramount Plus in 2 different countries, I think. Anyway, and that's why Pleasant Valley Picker is saying, Raquel, just go by the book order. Yeah, I think we should just go by the book order because
I think it's Captive Pursuit is 406.
Q-less
is next in the book. Yep. And then Q-less 407. So I think it goes
Dax
proud order from now on. And then Dax 408.
And then the Passenger, right?
And the Passenger 409. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's and I was looking at all the websites, the lists of episodes, and I think everything went. It goes in order. Yeah. Move Along Home, number 410. So I think that was the only switch. I think that they did.
Next week the episodes will be then Captain Pursuit, Q-less, Dax, and the Passenger. So there we go.
But great that the communications officer brings this up.
Doing her job. There you go. There you go. She's put it up there. There you go. Thank you, Jill.
It's very important that the communications officer brought this up. So if what I said sounded clear as mud, you just need to realize that on an outside of the USA, the series order, the numbers are going to be off, but we can't compensate for that. And you have to be made aware that the numbers are off because of the breaking up the Emissary.
Oh, 1 and 2, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Emissaries. Yeah, like the book actually lists Emissary as, what did we say? As 1 and 2, I guess, and it goes to 3, right? Yeah. So they consider episode 3.
Yeah.
When really Emissary is just 1 episode. It's just for syndication that they break it up. So sometimes, when Star Trek was showing where they had the hour-long, time slots, then they would break it up into 2 episodes.
Well done, Jill.
Yeah. So everybody just listen to Jill on this, because if you are experiencing technical difficulties with the numbers outside of the USA and you're scratching your head going, what the heck? Why are these numbers off? It's not you. Everything is fine. Just go by the name of the episodes to be certain.
Right.
Yeah, silly Americans. We have ground floor and elevators. You go to other countries. 1 is the first floor, right?
Well, thank you for that. By the way, Joe's Atmosphere, for your kind words, and thank you, Jill, for that. Appreciate you, communications officer. Yep. And now, folks, we will start making our goodbyes. First, we'll do our show notes. So before we get out of here, any final words? Number one.
I just would like to thank everyone for their marvelous conversation. I love your company. For those who were lurking, for those who were participating, just fill this whole room with electricity, interesting things to say, a nice variety of opinions, and just a delightful conversation. I mean, this is what being a Trekkie is all about, having these conversations. And, continually, every Saturday, this crew delivers. And so I doff my cap to everyone in the chat. Outstanding job tonight. I just love your company. I'd also like to thank our wrenches. I just love our wrenches so much. You guys work hard at keeping this space safe. And that is Eric K. He is not here tonight, but we do love him. Chris Persia, the great Chris Persia, I just absolutely love you. Thank you for all of your help. Anti-derivative Jill, D-Bud Martin. I think Stephen M has a wrench. I can't actually see on this side. Anybody else who is out there making sure that this conversation stays good and doesn't denigrate. You guys are just fab. I want to thank Mark for all of his help behind the scenes in getting this the PDF organized. Please follow Mark. He's a marvelous person. He's a maker. He makes really interesting things. I want to thank Clobby. Without Clobby, we would be, we wouldn't have this space. This is a magnificent space that he created for Trekkies, for all of us to get together here. I love you, Clobby. You're one of my best friends in the whole world in real life, and you just mean the world to me, and thank you. And I also would be remiss if I did not thank all of our after watchers, people like Eric O'Sullivan, people like and I would also be remiss, if I did not thank Maximum Redstone for your marvelous limericks. Thank you for adding this delightful component to this conversation. Everyone loves your work. Hysterical. We have a great time with you. And that's all I have to say, boss.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Mark, anything you need to tell everybody?
I just want to, real quick, let's talk about my first experience with, this series. I had some friends over and oh, this isn't going to be good. How are they going to pull this off? And, I turned out to be wrong. And, it turns out to be one of the best, Star Trek series. And a lot of people consider this their favorite. So I can still remember having my buddies over, ordered pizza. It wasn't clam pizza. And we watched this and enjoyed this, enjoyed the first, Emissary, the pilot, the first episode. So it was, it turned out to be a great series. And I haven't rewatched this in so long. So I'm looking forward to, with my crummy memory down the line, either I've missed some episodes or I'll find out I've never watched them, or just so it's going to be a fun experience going through these, and it's going to end up a lot better than TNG if my memory serves. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's a lot of fun hanging out with everyone in this group tonight. So it's always looking forward to Saturday Night Star Trek. So, and thank you to you and Raquel, and thank you, Raquel, for those kind words. And I'll get you that book sooner rather than later, and hopefully get you a better quality PDF for next week. So,
you help a lot of people, and you're really active in your community, and you're always donating your time. You're a very loving father, and you're active, civically engaged, and you're getting pulled in all different directions, and you give your time so freely to everyone. You're a scout leader.
It was just came back from a week at camp.
Yeah, you got all these. You're juggling all these balls in the air. You're a bona fide circus act. But I want everyone to know that it's because you are a loving dad and a scout leader, and you're active in your community, and you have all this stuff on the go. So you're a great friend to us. Thank you for giving us your time, even though you're spread so thin. So no shin kicks. Don't apologize about the PDF. We just love you and appreciate you, my wonderful friend.
Yeah, much appreciated. Dittos, as one of my favorite radio hosts used to say. So
all right. Well, and gonna plug anything?
Yeah. Sunday. Oh, of course, Sunday Night Geek. Yeah. See, it's late here. It got late early. So so Sunday Night Geek will be on tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully Clobbering Times will be there. Once in a while, Raquel, if it's not family night or you have a minute, sometimes you pop in as well.
I do. I love it. I have so much fun there.
Maddie's daddy and a whole host of revolving guests. So we're looking forward to talking maybe little stuff that went on Comic-Con this week. And the big news was the FF movie was announced, and I'm waiting to see if Clobbering Times was the producer listed on there. So it's opening November 8th, 2024. We got to see a look at Namor today. So yes, there's a lot of geek news.
Yeah, let's not even talk about any of that crap right now. I can't take.
Yeah.
No, San Diego right now, please.
No, I know. I'm just.
God, Jesus, you're an instigator.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Yeah, we'll talk off air.
Your agonizer, please.
I wasn't pleased either. Yep. But thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, that's a teaser for the show. Yep.
You're a teaser, all right.
Yeah. Never
All right,
want to
everyone,
listen now.
please go to
tomorrow
Mark
night.
D's
Yep.
channel, everybody, and join us. Well, if I don't know if I'll be there because if he's talking about San Diego, I'll probably be sick or something. No, I'm just kidding. If I'm not hanging out there. Please join him on his Sunday Night Geekery, and I hope to be there as well. So, and no videos. Or?
I did. Well, I did a review of the. It was an enabling one of the poster that was out, the Silver Surfer poster, and I didn't get one because it sold out so quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
that's
must
what
be
happens.
so disappointed. You
No,
were
it's
San
all
Diego.
right.
That's San Diego. You can't.
Yeah.
I had a
it was
shot
an
at that
online
Fantastic Four book, but it was too much. I
It's
actually
too
could have
much.
got it.
That was too
I
much.
had somebody at the booth there in San Diego.
It was
Pleasant Valley Picker.
bazillion dollars, probably, right?
Pleasant Valley Picker, they say, if you don't stir the pot, the food sticks to the bottom. He says, anyone have a comment about Shatner calling out the filth? Yes, I have a comment. Dear Bill Shatner, when I met you at a con in Alberta, the people who were standing around you noted that after you met me, it was the only time you smiled. You want to know what? You make me smile, Bill Shatner. I think you're a cutie patootie, and I adore you. And I'm so happy that you called out the filth. You're almost 100 years old. You went into space. You are sexy.
You are the captain.
You are the only captain. You're the best captain. You're every captain. I absolutely adore you. And when you see SHIT, you say, hey, look, stay away from that. Don't get it on you. It's SHIT.
Wear gloves, yeah.
So, William Shatner, Bill, I love you, gorgeous.
Love you, Shatner.
And Pleasant Valley Picker, now you know.
And now, show notes, and then we'll say our goodbyes, everybody. Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. The great Chief Engineer Mark Diaz with the CS will join me for another Clobby's Classic Comics review, reviewing the Marvel graphic novel from the 80s, The Big Change, with the Hulk and the Thing by Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson. Can't wait for that.
Great stuff, yep.
And I cannot wait for next Wednesday night because I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects in the universe, the great science fiction classic TV series Blake's 7, something a passion of mine, something I've loved too much, probably. I love it too much for my own good. I will be counting down all 52 episodes in order of rank and rating each one along the way. All 52. It could take me a while, but I'm going to do it.
You're going to get it done.
And it may be, I just remembered, I don't care how late I am. I don't care if they.
Well, you're saving the galaxy by doing that.
I got to be on a show that night after that, but I don't care how. I'm going to take my time. And if I miss the show, I'm supposed to be on. It'll be too bad. But anyway, there's that, folks. And then, of course, more Saturday Night Star Trek next week. Next night we have the Clubhouse. Oh, by the way, next Saturday Night Star Trek will be my 400th YouTube live stream, and it'll be it'll be number 1100 overall. I'll be at number 1100. I'll have done 1100 podcasts for Clobbering Times overall.
That's incredible, yeah.
Dun,
and
dun,
then,
dun, dun.
the next Monday night, J-Man and I will review Batman number 321. I'm looking forward to that with the great J-Man. So, I guess it is time for us to say our goodbyes. So, because we shout everyone out at the beginning of the show and we shout everyone out at the end of the show. Even if you're already gone, we're going to shout you out anyway. So first, a big shout out to all who are listening to this on a later broadcast or a later rerun, however you want to call it. Hey, Captain Time. Look at Captain Time Lord. Look at him, Captain Time Lord.
Is he sticking with that? Captain Cockney Spock, are
That's a
you
good
Time
one.
Lord now, like proper?
Well, he is a
Inquiring
Time
minds
Lord.
want to know, Captain Time Lord Spock, are you time traveling tonight?
He is a Time Lord, after all. We know that. I've always known that.
Well,
about
time is not linear for him. I
He's not
wonder what he
linear.
thought of the first episode. Yeah.
him. Yes, indeed. So anyway, all right. So we're going to say our goodbyes here because it takes a while. And what we're going to do is, whether they're already gone or not, they get the shout out because you're important to us. And like I said, those who listen on a download later, thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. And please, everyone, if you hit the like and give us a thumbs up, and also a subscription to not only me but any of our wonderful, lovely friends that I have subscriptions on my links in my description below. So, obviously, the great Mark D with the C and Nancy Dura, the Jill, and Lord Thoth were here, our crew members. But Phantom Outsider was here. Thank you, buddy. Shooter was here. Shooter 8323. Thank you. Michael Beacom. Thank you so much. As also Cassandra Beacom was here. Thank you so much. The great Chris Potaja. So again, we understand some of these people already had to leave, but we just want to get them shouted out anyway. Raymond Feliciano was here, as was Sandra Feliciano. Pleasant Valley Picker, thank you for being here tonight. Diesel, thank you so much for being here tonight. The great J-Man was here. Steve Mitchell, aka Maddie's daddy. I hope Maddie's feeling better, buddy.
Yep.
JT Kirk, my friend, thank you so much. Dadman and the Dadman clan, thank you for being here with us. Mrs. Dadman, thank you so much. Wendy Webb was here earlier.
Yeah, hope our neighbor's okay.
Hope everything's okay over there. Enigmatic drop there. EDL, was always a pleasure. Thank you, buddy. Let's see. The Catman, aka Diddy Myers. Hungry boy. Thank you, buddy. Hungry for Akira Inoto detective series. And they call him Schoolboy Pete. Thank you, buddy. Maximum Max Redstone. Thank you for all the help and everything you did, buddy. Appreciate you. Tyrell 72. Thank you, my friend, for being here. Appreciate you. Cal L, buddy. Mr. Angel, I think had to run, but okay. Hello, shout out. Dave Bob had to run. Thanks, Dave Bob. Joe's Atmosphere. Thank you for being here, buddy. Appreciate it. Mistral Niblet. Thank you. Wolfie 762. Wolfie. Thank you, buddy. The Comic Relief Crusader, thank you for being here. Papa Delta Yankee, thank you so much for being here tonight. Appreciate you. El Hombre popped in earlier. Thank you, El Hombre. Gojatron, what's here? Midnight's Oblivion was here. Mitesh Desai was here. Thank you. Apollo Maze Minion and the Paparoniuska was here. Captain James T. Skywalker was here. Cavatino, Captain Shea was here. Pop Culture Curator. Thank you. Not an on the bar. Thank you. Rob Aldis, thank you so much for being here. Larry. The Nerd Porio Lifeform was here earlier. Scotty R37. Hey. Thank you for being here. Quagnar was here. Tim's Talk was here. Mr. Tech Ultra, thank you so much. Chasing 80s Toys, thank you. Keely Chow Roll Tide, Masters Maniac of Mexico, thank you so much. Mazarus, thank you. That 70s Cam Loops Rock Fan, thank you, buddy. D. Bud Martin, the Man of Iron. Orville Nation, hail PJ. Dave G. Sound, thank you for being here. The lovely, wonderful Katie Carr. Brandon, the anime guy, thank you for being here, buddy. Appreciate you. And last but not ever least, the great Captain Time Lord Spock. And
Mitesh.
Who?
And Mitesh.
I said Mitesh Desai.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
I did. Yes, sir. So we're covered, I think. There we go. We got everybody. Unless you had anything else to add, number one, we will get moving.
No, I'm good.
All righty. Well, thank you all so much for being here with us this evening. I cannot wait to see you again. You've just been too fantastic. And here it's been a great start to our newest leg in our ongoing journey to review all of Real Trek 66 through 05. Deep Space Nine is now officially launched, and it's going to be a fun ride. So appreciate you all so much for being here. Please enjoy these messages and then our end credits and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Trek on and clobber on, clobberers. Good night, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Good night.